Dear viewer, this is not the feature film Promare. This is a podcast discussing the film and its English dub. If you want to watch the film, you can do so by buying the DVD, Blu-ray, Steelbook, and or Collector's Edition, courtesy of GKIDS Entertainment. You can also either buy or rent the film via digital distribution platforms. Please support the official release. Thank you. Warning: the Dub Talk podcast may contain language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Also, there's a spoiler warning for the entirety of the film Promare, so please keep that in mind if you don't wish to be spoiled. And finally, the views and opinions expressed in this episode are that of the individual participants and do not reflect the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. And with this, summer at the movies is coming to the grand finale, and I feel my firefighting spirit ready to burn up. I feel my soul ready to set ablaze, burning red hot with passion, violence, and hard kicking asses. But you know what? I need a new friend. I need a companion who's with me through thick and thin to help fight the fires that is this film, Promare. It's time for Fire Rescue to introduce its new member of the family, Rory the Fire Dog. You can do it, Rory. We believe in you. You got this. Oh, you're such a good little girl. We appreciate you. Oh, aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you? Look at your little hat. You're so... Excuse me. And with that, Dub Talk Burning Rescue Force is on the move. Let's go!
Hello one and all, and welcome to Dub Talk Summer at the Movies Season 4's fiery finale! This summer we've gone through things like idols, robots, time travel, big hammers, perverts, thieves, and whatever the fuck was happening in Dragon Quest. Tonight, we are here to put a bow on everything, to put out this blaze with our big opinion on dub hoses. I am your hostess with the mostest, Megan, and with me I have Lieutenant Roots.
Pork chop sandwiches! Oh, get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? Go! Get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot! Fuck! We're all dead! Get the fuck out!
What? That is the most I've ever heard you curse in my life.
We're good.
When we
censor that, can we not do the censor bleeps? Can we do like fire truck audio over every one of those swears?
Jackson, I know you're editing this, but if you can bleep out every single instance of the word fuck or shit with a firefighter, with a fire truck noise, you'll make this episode go from good to great. Speaking of tech, we have our firefighter tech guy, Noah.
Dub Patrol will be there on the double. No job's too big, no fire's too small. Dub Patrol, we're on a roll. So here we go, Dub Patrol. Whoa, ready to go. I'm fired up.
And finally, we have our himbo with the mostest, Andrew.
Just who the hell do you think I am? I'm not Kamina. I'm not from that other show. I'm Gallo Timos, and I'm ready to set my firefighting soul ablaze, and I'm feeling a little too constricted in this shirt. I'm gonna tear it off rip it off my entire...
Do it, coward! Do it, coward!
Yes. Do it!
Liberation!
Beefcake!
Oh,
Steph, that's for you.
Oh, the Nexus.
And somewhere out there in the wilderness of America, you can hear Stephanie just going, "Oh my god, it's so hot!" Either that or a facepalm, one or the other.
It's probably a facepalm.
It's a mixture of both.
It's both.
Simultaneously.
It is a feeling of pride and of shame.
Here's what it is: the exact meme of, "I am a moron sexual, And God, you are such an idiot, Andrew, as she starts ripping her own clothes off.
I was gonna say, there's this really great comic called Check Please. And there's this one part where they're talking about what's called sick flow, which is people's hair. And it's like, oh, it's disgusting, I want him to do me.
Yeah?
So tonight, we are here to finish off Summer of the Movies, but a quick warning, if you've somehow made it through that disaster of an intro, and still believe that you are watching a copy of Promare legally, you're not.
You're not.
No, there's no Gallo, there's no Leo, there is only Zool in our podcast. So, stop trying to pirate here, and go pick up the official release from GKIDS. There is a regular edition, there is a steelbook edition, and by the time that this is out, there will be a nice big shiny collector's edition. You can also buy it digitally through digital platforms, including YouTube, Google Play, iTunes, PS Store, wherever the you get digital shit. Probably Amazon, but who knows, with the purge that they're doing now, they might see Gallo's titties as a threat.
His titties are too strong. They cannot be contained.
Neither can Andrew's, but that's a sight that only Steph wants to see.
I have that in writing. Only Steph can see it.
So, if you don't know what we're talking about, let me give you a quick summary. The protagonist and focal point of the series is veteran New York firefighter Tommy Gavin. The series follows Tommy's troubled family and co-workers as they deal with real-life issues, such as post-9/11 trauma or their own domestic problems. The Tommy struggle... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That is the plot to the American television show Rescue Me.
Oh my god, did you pull this shit again?
Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, it's a callback.
Call back.
I couldn't just do the plot of Fire Force. We all know that by now. I had to get you somehow. Let me get the right one.
No, this is that show that just came out from Studio Trigger, and it's about a girl who turns into a tanuki, right? And has to...
No, that one doesn't go to space.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
No.
You can never be too sure.
No. Here we go. I got the right summary. It says it focuses on a young boy named Ryder who leads a search and rescue.
No!
Team that calls them
It's not even Canadian.
Paw Patrol. They work together on missions to protect the shoreside community of Adventure Bay.
Megan. We are worried normally about like Disney copyright or Toei copyright. But let me tell you, if you want to feel the full wrath of copyright gods, you've seen nothing until you've dealt with Nickelodeon and Viacom. They will murder us.
Nickelodeon and Viacom can eat my sweet white ass. Anyway, speaking of ass eating, let's get to the plot summary of Promare, which I guess you probably have guessed is the finale episode.
I must have missed that part of the movie.
That's the 18-plus OVA that can only be found on AXT in Japan.
Oh god.
There's a very beefy Matoi pole in that one. Coincidentally, you can also browse tags in AO3 to find that OVA.
That's true.
I wonder how you know, while you're reading this description, I'm gonna see how many fanfictions
God damn it! Are we gonna fucking do this again?
Maybe.
Yes. We are legally obligated to do this again.
Read the description. Read the description first.
A reminder that I believe AO3 has a Peabody. Please respect AO3. 30 years ago, a cataclysmic event destroyed half the world in a fire and caused a mutation that created a new race of people called the Burnish. Burnish are able to create and control fire. The Burning Rescue Fire Squad puts out fires caused by the Burnish. The new rookie of Burning Rescue is Gallo, a hot-headed man who wields Matoi tech, named after the Matoi banners that Edo period firefighters used. Gallo's encounter with Leo, the leader of the Burnish terrorist group called Mad Burnish, sets the story in motion. And along the way, you're going to learn that capitalism, the immigrations and customs officials, and that this episode cannot be unpolitical.
Yep.
Guys, I don't know if you've actually watched Promare. Promare is about as politically subtle as a brick through your window.
You know that image going around of the two astronauts and one's got a gun, and it's basically like, wait, it's all political? Always has been.
Always has been.
Always has been.
Wait. So in this instance, is the one holding the gun going to be Kazuki Nakashima, and the person looking at the Earth is just going to be a Trigger fanboy?
Sure.
Question, there's two people holding the gun. The other one is Imaishi.
Imaishi.
Right. Hiroyuki Imaishi. And if you could not tell by those names, yes, people, we are covering the latest theatrical production from the reserved studio Trigger, basically
Maker of small independent productions such as Kill la Kill, Little Witch Academia. They also did Brand New Animal, but specifically, if you know the name Hiroyuki Imaishi, we did mention one of his works. He's also done series such as Space Patrol Luluko, Kill la Kill, Sex,
Violence, and Mach Speed, which is like...
Thank you.
I believe that was one of the, you know where Me came from?
Yes.
The same animation festival where that came from, Imaishi did a short called Sex, Violence, and Mach Speed, which is actually referenced in Luluko.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He also did Gurren Lagann, of course. And, of course, he did everyone's, I'm trying to think of the other thing that he did.
Panty and Stocking.
Thank you.
He did Panty and Stocking.
That was the other one. Which, yeah, if you could not tell, Trigger is the reserved group that broke off from Gainax because they thought, screw this, we're going to go our own route, and go their own route they did.
We're gonna make our own animation studio with American influences and hookers.
Yep.
And God bless them for it.
So, one more thing before we get into this, I want to ask, do you want to take a guess at how many explicit Promare fan fictions I found on AO3?
Let's
Yes.
take
Not a thousand.
No.
It's at least a triple digit.
Oh, wow. I guess it is a little new. I'm going to guess
$6.99.
Ooh,
700.
You're actually... I'm gonna say Megan's close, because you did the Price is Right thing, where she said $6.99 and you said it's 700. That's a dick move.
I was literally going to say 700. I don't know how Megan knew I was going to guess one number above what she was guessing.
I was going for 69, that's why.
625.
Okay.
I was going for 69, come on.
So you still would have lost, Noah.
Whoop, 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 boom. Boom.
You still
$1.
lost.
$1.
You know who isn't losing, son?
Who isn't?
The director and writer of this dub. Also, guys, yes, we're here to talk about a review of the entire dub of the film. At least Noah and I have seen Side Leo and Side Gallo, which are like 12-minute shorts that take place before Promare, but for the sake of this review, like, we'll mention it, but 99.9% of this review is going to be on the film itself, which was released in theaters by GKIDS like 3 times. Well, it was released twice, and then it was gonna get released again, and then the human malware was like, nah, fam, that.
Yeah. But on the plus side, that did lead to GKIDS releasing a digital version of it earlier than originally planned.
That was cool,
Yes! Yeah. Yes, they did, and that is the only thing they have released early digitally. There's a weird thing where, like, somebody told me that this movie was not, like, that it wasn't that good and nobody was still really talking about it, and my entire thought was, are you high?
I still see art about it to this day, and it's not always you retweeting it.
It's Shadow. Shut up, asshole. It says the girl who bought a book of Galileo pinups the other day.
What? Officially licensed?
No, oh god, no, fan art.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, because Fire Force just had that one episode with the Firefighter Calendar Edition. I thought, maybe Trigger thought they could get in on that market as well.
God, they should. No, they're doing the one thing better than Fire Force could ever do, and that's making Nendroids out the butthole. There's literally a Leo Nendroid that you can get where he does his hoe sit.
The hoe sit, I like that name.
Where he does the hoe sit. Speaking of... You know what? I can't even segue that into this. Let's talk about our director and our writer. Our directors, there were 3 of them, but there are 2 primary ones, which are Michael Stinker Nicholas, Stephanie Shea, and Michael Snyder, and Michael Snyder was also our director. Michael Stinker Nicholas, you'll know for his directorial work on things like Oko's Inn, Dragon Quest Your Story, and Fireworks, should we see it from the bottom of the top. Stephanie Shea, you'll know for her work on series and movies such as FLCL Alternative, Liz and the Bluebird, and My Miracle. Michael Snyder also did directorial work on things such as Dragon Quest Your Story, Oko's Inn, and Mirai. As a writer, Michael Snyder has done things such as Dragon Quest Your Story and Oko's Inn. Let's get started with Andrew, then Roots, then Noah, then me.
I'll say first and foremost, one of the things that I feel is worth mentioning, because Noah had previously mentioned that Trigger was an offset of Gynex.
Mm-hmm.
Something that happened a little bit earlier, a few months prior to the release of...
Oh, good God, we have to bring this up, is right.
We do have to bring this up slightly. I'm going to bring it up slightly, just because something I feel worth mentioning that was kind of advertised at the start. I was a little worried about when I heard this. The other subsect of Gynex was Studio Khara. Studio Khara, who is basically now in control of the IP of Neon Genesis Evangelion. I bring this up because for the brand new English dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion, Khara and Ano, they were heavily involved in the adaptation of the new Eva dub. One of the things that was a problem with that dub is that it was basically chokeholded by executive decisions to an insurmountable degree. Like, to the point that several lines from that dub are now memes. People will straight up say, "You are worthy of my grace," as a goddamn meme at this point because of things that happened with the Eva localization. So when I heard Trigger was going to have some involvement in the localization of this, my immediate thought was, oh shit, oh Christ, oh fuck, oh god. The other part of my brain was thinking, wait a second, this is Trigger. Trigger loves the West. They might have a couple of says, but for the most part, I think they'll let the localization team do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say watching this dub several times now, it's a pretty natural sounding localization. The cast and the script does not sound like it is being chokeholded by executive decisions. The only time I think it's ever a little off is when they're using proper names like Mad Burnish, but that's just a Japanese to English thing. That's not a big deal. The script sounds pretty good for the most part. There's some pretty poignant lines of dialogue. They managed to make some of the goofier sounding lines sound pretty fun and goofy. When it needs to sound serious, it sounds pretty serious. When it needs to sound like a dumb, hardcore action romp, it is that. I feel the localization, the script, and the cast do a fantastic job of getting the tones that this movie needs to do perfectly. And this movie has a lot of different tones and atmospheres to work off, and I don't think any of it ever is at odds with each other, nor do I feel like any decisions from up top are really kneecapping this production at all. I think the dub cast is really good, I think the script is really good, and I think the direction, especially on like the main three characters, to be exceptional. I'd say this is a dub that lit the fires in me pretty damn hot.
Wow.
Also, I've now seen this fucking movie like 3 to 4 different times now.
Were you poised to be like a huge fan of this movie before even watching it? Like, this is one you were like super hyped for?
I'll say this. In the past couple of years, I've realized I enjoy Trigger stuff, but I don't always love Trigger stuff. Darling and Frank. Sorry, don't know how that got in there. Got that out of there.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I feel like that we got a tiny reference to that in this movie, which we'll mention when we get to another character.
I feel there's more elaborate references, but there's what I know exactly the part you're talking about. I'll say this. I don't always love everything.
Except for they're not cowards like the Darling and the Franks team.
I'll say this. I don't always love everything Trigger does, but what I do love, and what I do jive with, is the mad bullshit that Hiroyuki Imaishi can do, because Gurren Lagann, as I have reviewed earlier this year, is a show that is really near and dear to my heart, and there is a level of passion and energy that is reminiscent to that in this movie. Like, I love Imaishi's chaotic, manic energy, and so I was looking forward to see what he would do in a 2-hour span, and I feel he delivered when I saw it in the theaters.
Excellent. And the reason I asked that is because knowing that you gave high props to the dub, I needed to know if it matched up to the expectations you had if you were really looking forward to the movie, which sounds like it did. That makes it doubly impressive that you had positive things to say about it.
For sure.
Thank you. Roots, if you want to go?
Yeah. One thing I definitely do appreciate, especially given the fact that Trigger was so directly involved, I'm actually not sure if they were actually directly involved in the localization side of it, or if it was just the casting.
It could have been a little column A, a little column B.
Like, they were absolutely, like, everything went through them in terms of, you know, who got cast where and whatnot. That much I know.
Really?
Yeah. They had even made a point to announce that when at Anime Expo, I believe last year. Like, they made it one of the big bullet points of their presentation at their panel.
That's interesting because I'm thinking about actors from this movie who have been in previous dubs for other Trigger/Gainax productions, specifically like Gurren Lagann, in instance, because there are some Gurren Lagann veterans in this dub who are in roles very different from their Gurren Lagann counterpart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they went out of their way to like straight up make this Gurren Lagann, but it was at least fun coincidences when some of that did pop up.
I mean, it stands in contrast to something like when Funimation got the rights to dub Wolf Children and The Boy and the Beast, the two Mamoru Hosoda films. The Japanese side specifically told them that we want the crew who dubbed Summer Wars to come back as the writer and director.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's...
Okay, that's neat.
Yeah, so I also, like you were mentioning, Andrew, a little skeptical when the Japanese side start to dip their fingers into the casting process. But it sounds like in this instance, it didn't really have a negative effect on the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I like the fact that the script is really punchy. Like, dialogue flies at a mile a minute, and everybody involved, from the director to the writers to the actors, we're basically able to keep up with all that. It's very over the top. It's very, high octane. And, oh, yeah, Snap and Banner. The thing I usually look for in a dub of this kind of action-y show, or, I'm sorry, movie, where, I look to see if the dialogue, like, it flows back and forth very well. And just, I also try to pay attention to the small talk that goes on, off to the side of the frame, maybe a little bit of Walla, maybe a couple of the incidental characters having a little bit of a conversation over here. It all sounded really good. And when everything just gets cranked up to 11, the action scenes, just everything going on at once, it is just an absolute delight to hear. The movie is very well casted. Like, the direction and the actual production side of it are very solid. So it gets my thumbs up.
Noah?
I absolutely had an expectation going into this because NYAV Post, which was the group that did the dub for this one, we had talked about a previous recent production they did on this podcast, which was Oko's Inn. And for that one, they decided to go for relatively newer cast members to fill out the roster. And that kind of fit for the style of Oko's Inn because it was more of a family-friendly film, something that it fit very well. You can go listen to our episode on that one. For Promare, though, they clearly did not do that. They wanted seasoned veterans, name talent, basically. Like, this cast list that we're going to talk about is just crammed balls to the wall with people that you've been hearing in anime for probably as long as you've been alive, maybe even longer. And because of that, there was a high expectation I had going into this. And it met it. This feels very natural. I forgot listening to this that there even was a Japanese track. I had no desire to switch over to the Japanese audio while listening because I thought like a plot point was lost or the characters didn't sound distinct from each other. Gurren Lagann, from what I've heard, is all right, but I kind of prefer the Japanese audio for that than I do the English dub. Not so much in Promare. Promare is absolutely an A+ English production. And we'll get into the individual characters when we get to them, but I do want to give major props to Michael, Stephanie, and Michael, or MSM as I call them, for giving each character distinct characterization. Like, you can close your eyes, or even watch the movie, because sometimes the animation makes it difficult to tell what's going on, and you can still tell which character is which because they're given distinct voices, personalities, vocal quirks, just little details that really make it feel like a fleshed out cast that could easily be transferred to a long-running TV series about these characters as well. So it's good. It is good stuff in the dub department.
All right. There was something I was trying to find that they said about their casting. And specifically to one character that I think is like the only thing I had an issue with, and unfortunately I can't find it. But I think I brought it up with Andrew and Roots before, is that Trigger having a say in the casting of this movie Thankfully, it wasn't an Ava situation, because I think if it was an Ava situation, people would have never heard the end of it. And this dub is well liked enough that I believe they actually played it in Japan.
Nice.
Yeah, they did. They did have screenings of it in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, they did have showings of the dub of this in Japan. So for all you people who are out there like, Japanese people don't ever want to watch dubs of their stuff. Oh no, they did. They did for this. I know of people who have people who imported Kemono Friends' dub.
Wow.
Which is still cool.
Also, don't forget that Bandai Visual used a bunch of the commercials Funimation produced for Space Dandy for their own advertising.
Right, the ones where Ian Sinclair was Dandy. I forgot about that.
Those are amazing commercials, by the way. If you ever want to watch those, go look those up, or we'll link them in the description box below.
In the doobly-doo.
Okay, Jeff.
I think that's copyrighted by this point. And now we gotta pay Canadian dollars for using that. Damn it, Andrew.
Thank God our dollar is stronger right now.
That's why we call it the down below, Andrew.
God damn it.
It's the down below.
Jackson, you got that for us, buddy. Love you.
No, but, so this was a quote from Wakabayashi, and I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I do want to read this. After discussing with our counterpart staff members, we ended up concluding that it would be better if the American version to have characters that are easier to understand, so we toned down his voice type and performance into his simplified, typical enemy type compared to the Japanese version. That's the only issue I have with this dub, is, no offense, English dubbed anime watchers and Americans are not that fucking stupid. I'm speaking from my own experience, and I know I'm not everybody. Hi, I'm an anime fan with a bachelor's in humanities and cultural studies. Specifically in film and new media. I have studied film theory. I am not an idiot, guys. And even if I wasn't, I know I'm media literate, guys.
I'd also argue that the character in question that they're talking about needing a little less nuance for... It's not as deep as you think it is.
You think, guys. Like, trust me, it's not as deep so much that your studio used the same villain twice in your last two productions.
And that's some tea. That's some tea, alright.
Trigger, I love you, but we're not... Dub viewers aren't stupid. Other than that, though, I really do like this dub. When I first watched it, when this was dubby eligible, I don't think I was as in love with it as I was now. I think it was a bit of, okay, this is really good, but... Due to the movie's own fault, I think a lot of the secondary cast is kind of wasted on this film. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like if they did simplify down a lot of the characters based on that quote, that really does kind of hurt it. Because, frankly, I think a lot of other dubs out there are able to get their nuances across. Like, I mean, for God's sakes, all of us, at least except for Roots, who I know hasn't started it, all of us watch the Fruits Basket dub, and it's fantastic and has highly nuanced characters and performances, and I don't think they ever had to dub that down.
I'd also even argue in the dub itself, there's plenty of subtlety and nuance from many of the performances, which we'll get into.
I mean, Aka, where they even went back to add a little more nuance to one of the performances.
Did they, actually?
Yes, because somebody accidentally called them out on it and might have gotten it changed.
What?
Patrick.
Wait, what?
It's a spoiler for Aka, so we're not going to say what it is. We'll tell you
Tell me
after
about
this.
that later, because I want to hear about the thing you did.
I'll DM you.
Cool, thanks. Love you.
Get a room, you two. God. Ugh. I'm sorry, I feel really bad that I'm getting stressed out and cupping my mouse pet's titties.
That's what they're there for.
That's what they're there for.
They're so squishy.
And on the 8th day, God was stressed and made the titty mouse pad, and all was good.
God's wrist was hurting from creating all the animals, especially the platypus.
I just have all these spare parts. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
You know, it didn't have spare parts, this movie.
Oh.
No, other than that one gripe, I think, which is more on the controlling end, I think that this dub came out really well, and I really want to give appreciation to the sound mixing team on this movie. If you've never seen Promare, this movie has a bitchin' OST, and a lot of loud noises. And they mix together the audio and that together perfectly.
Yeah, the fact that it's not drowning in dialogue and music is a feat in itself.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, whenever the Kakusei scene starts, I literally get a little wet.
I can't even. You know what? You know what?
I thought you were
Listen.
I thought you were gonna say me
Listen.
too, Andrew.
I mean, raise your hand if just the animation of Leo getting really mad and his face becoming the volcano. Come on, Noah,
It's so good!
I did put a hole in the wall from that rock hard boner. I'm not gonna deny that, but it was. You're right. It was very well mixed. It was incredibly well mixed. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of some other Trigger productions, but I can't deny.
Rub it out for good.
Gentlemen, if you need to get
Pour
it,
one out for good mixing.
if you're a little nervous and you need to get it up, just think of Matari Yuane Yarade Sarameto da da da, and right after, you too, your own dragon will grow bigger and bigger.
You too will know what it is to have philosopher time.
Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
Anyway.
Now that we've scared away all of the scrubs.
I forgot to move on. This is a very... No, I really like the dub of this movie. And I'm with Noah, like, I've had the opportunity to, like, go back and watch the sub, and I'm just like, I don't want to fucking do it. I like the dub too much, especially Leo and Gallo's performances. They are very, very good. I keep looking at my mouse pad!
Soon, Megan. Soon.
Move along.
Speaking of move along, let's roll on into our first set of characters. We're gonna do these a lot in groups because, frankly, if you've seen this movie, there are like 5 actual characters who matter. But that being said, we still do want to talk about some of the performances of our secondary cast. Those are Mace, Guerrera, who are the 2 lieutenants of the Mad Burnish who run around setting fires, and if you've watched Side Leo, they are kind of running around doing a lot of stuff and being their own thing until they meet Leo, who bails their asses out, and they're just like, oh fuck, his fire's bigger than ours. Alright, he's in charge now. Varys Truss, who's a member of the Burning Rescue. He is the big dude who eats about as much pizza as Gallo. Holy shit, I realized another tweet that I need to get pulled up.
By the way, you were trying to remember what the name of the pizza was. I think they said they were Mad Margaritas.
Oh god, that sounds... I want a Mad Margarita. I need a Mad Margarita. Anyway, here we go. Remy Pugna, who is the lieutenant of Burning Rescue, who is the glasses-wearing guy who's like, stick to the rules, man, I have a stick up my butt. I've also seen fan art of him and, Ignis as a couple. And then there is Blair Colossus, who is, Cray's secretary, and she's his assistant. But before we go on, we have to talk about the most powerful member of Burning Rescue. A powerful rat named Vinny.
Vinny! Vinny!
A powerful rat named Vinny Burning Rescue.
I'm going to actually assume his name is Vinny Burning Rescue.
It's canon now. Thank you, Defunct Land.
Are we sure that's not just not Akko from Little Witch Academia making a cameo?
You know what? It could be. Though I'm not gonna lie.
A powerful rat named Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Yes! Yes, you did it! He's not powerful anymore. He's not powerful anymore.
He is no more.
Now Vinny is the most powerful.
Punished rat, Charles Entertainment Cheese.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, Chuck E. Cheese is no more.
Demoted rat, Charles Entertainment Cheese. If you want to know what that's from, please, we'll put it in the down below, the link to that Defunct Land episode. You should watch it anyway.
Vinny has slayed Chuck E. Cheese. Now he goes for God to kill the mouse of Mickey. I believe in you, Vinny.
Megan, I gotta be honest. At one point, I thought you were gonna say a powerful rat named Michael Eisner.
But we're not talking about Cray Foresight yet.
This isn't the BoJack Horseman episode.
So, please stop making fun of Michael Eisner. He's suffered enough.
I don't think he suffered enough at all.
The Disney sequels weren't that bad.
Playing... God, my body hurts.
Megan, we can start a spin-off podcast just talking about bashing the Disney company. I would
Yes!
gladly co-host with you with that. Absolutely.
I both hate and love the Disney company. I'm a fucking pass holder. I am a slave to the powerful mouse named Mickey and with his simp Bob Iger.
You can't row fight the power when you have a season pass.
I'm gonna be honest, I did not think the term simp would be used in the context of Disney, but you know what? When in Rome.
Bob Iger is simping for Mickey.
No!
Please, God, I'm going to start. Okay, playing Mace is Yuri Lowenthal. Playing Guerrero is Matt Mercer. Playing Varys Truss is John Bentley. Playing Remy Twinga is Billy Bob Thornton. Playing Blair Colossus is Melissa Fawn. And playing Vinny is one of our directors, Michael Nicholas. Yuri Lowenthal, you'll know his characters such as Luca in Dragon Quest Your Story. Yuri Shiba in Kyokara Mao, and Simone in Gurren Lagann.
There we go.
Matt Mercer, you'll know his characters such as Levi Ackerman in Attack on Titan, Leorio in Hunter x Hunter, and Yusuke Asahina in Brothers Conflict.
Of course.
John Bentley, you'll know as Nathan Seymour, aka Fire Emblem in Tiger and Bunny, Tiger's Eye in Sailor Moon Super S, and Morio Sonoda in Baki. Billy Bob Thompson, you'll know as Nuke in Crunchyroll, you know what? Nuke and Crunchyroll nominated Mazinger Z Infinity.
I don't know that.
Callahan in Pokemon the movie The Power of Us, and Taito Amino in Psychic School Wars. Go f*** yourself, CR, for not nominating Makuya that year and having Promare last year. Melissa Fawn, you'll know as Lycos in Children of the Whales, writer in Fate Unlimited Blade Works, and Fate Stay Night's Heaven's Wheel, and Finish in Lost Song, and Michael Sticker Nicholas, you'll know as Dagger in Black Butler Book of Circus, Takaru in Freedom, and Sobe in Samurai 7.
Wow. I'm gonna give you a golf clap for that. That was really impressive.
Okay,
You didn't, legitimately, you didn't flub any Japanese names in there. That was legitimately impressive.
Yeah, you've earned a drink for that one.
You deserve a pizza.
I don't want a margarita pizza, I want a margarita.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew.
Okay, so starting off, Melissa Fawn got a paycheck.
That she did.
She got a paycheck. Blair has a cool design. She has a couple lines of dialogue, and I think she controls the mech at some point before she gets blown up. That's really all she does in the movie, I'm sorry. Who do a little bit more are Remy and Varys. I think they have really cool designs, and I actually really like their interactions with their ensemble cast, and they have really cool mech dynamics, where I believe Remy is basically Ice Sniper, and Varys is pretty much, he is the heavy lifter, but also, like, basically breaks stuff down to, like, free people. I think it's actually a pretty cool dynamic. John Eric Bentley, I think he has a really cool, gruff, but badass tone of voice. He's really cool in the action scenes, and I like seeing him play off of Gallo and the other crew members. He's got this great, cool tone of voice. He's a badass. He's got this gruff, but very, like, he's a bit of a meathead, but he's very sincere and hardworking, and he has great chemistry with his cast. Him and Remy, I think I want to see a little more of. Like, if this was a series of, like, 12 episodes, they definitely would have had a side episode or two. I think Billy Bob Thompson does a great job being this kind of cool, suave, glasses, bishy boy who's ice cold and sincere, and he does a good job as well. I think they both do good jobs. I wish they could have done a little more. I like their designs especially, too. Speaking of good designs, holy shit, Mace and Guerra. Yuri Lowenthal and Matt Mercer, they are veterans. You know who they are. If you say you don't know who they are, you're not paying the attention. I love their action dynamic. I love that they are the +1 / I don't know.
No, they're the side bitches.
You know what? I don't even know if they're the side.
What they are. Here's exactly what they are. You've seen a Goofy movie, right?
Yes.
They are the two hot singers that Powerline has on the side of him in the finale where they're singing Eye to Eye. That is exactly what they make the main guy look hotter by their hotness.
I hate the fact that I am now envisioning Leo singing Eye to Eye to Gallo. I'm so mad at you for this image.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love this image too.
I'm gonna go through the movie frame by frame, that scene frame by frame, and just, put their faces right on top of the character animation.
He'll do it. He'll do it.
I will give you money.
I'm gonna do a Nigel Thornberry face swap thing, but
Okay.
with those three characters.
I'll say this. I wish they did a little more in the movie. I'm told they definitely get a little more meat to work off of in the side Leo special. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, cool. But I will say, Yuri Lowenthal and Matt Mercer, they are great voice actors, and they do a pretty good job when they are doing things. I love the action scenes. I love when they literally see Gallo doing his whole chuny, like, samurai spiel, and they're like, is he an idiot? Definitely an idiot. It's like, okay, yeah. They have great chemistry together, him and these two and Leo. Their designs are rad. I love their transform states and their stupid little doom buggies. It's so goofy, but it's so cool.
How do you make a physical four-wheel vehicle out of fire?
I don't wanna die. I just wanna ride my motorcycle.
It doesn't make sense.
Cool.
I don't care if it makes sense, it's fucking cool, but Yuri and Matt Mercer are great voice actors and they do a great job.
That's not a dune buggy at all, you dumbass!
I don't know what the word was, I just...
ATV! Four-wheeler! Redneck! You know those little cars that you get when you're a kid and you, like, stomp your little feet? Those little, like, fire trucky things? You know the...
Fire trucky thing?
Shut up!
You mean the Flintstone mobiles?
No, yeah, but they're like the little red car with the yellow roof.
Yeah, we have two of those in our front yard.
Yeah, they're riding the redneck versions of that.
Basically.
Well, I mean, one of them was actually a motorcycle, though.
Okay, yeah. I just know Mercer's guy, Guerra, he's got a four-wheeler and it's fun. He's got such a big body and such a tiny car. It's great. Anyways, yeah, these guys are great. They don't get to do too much, but they are fun, and I like their designs. Yeah, all these characters, I think they have great designs, but these are definitely the characters that get probably the most shafted due to the 2-hour length of the movie. But all in all, every actor who was playing their parts did a pretty good job. And Vinny, and those are my thoughts on Vinny.
I disagree.
Jeez.
Vinny,
Jesus, Megan, this is supposed to be at least somewhat PG-13. Come on.
Your mother!
Whoa, put a censor in there.
I want Jackson to censor all of my videos with fire horn noises.
I think this episode has gotten dangerously cheesy.
Andrew.
I'm going in the corner.
Corner.
You do your thing, Roots of Justice.
You don't get your shirt back either.
Good.
And we're getting Chuck E. Cheese, and you're getting the cross.
No.
What Chuck E. Cheese? They don't exist anymore.
Exactly.
No, they're now Pasquale Pizza.
That's right. We still have to take Lilac to a Chuck E. Cheese someday.
It's okay. We're gonna make like a fucking dub talk version of Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Yes.
But it's gonna be Stephanie, Megan, Noah, Andrew, and Roots go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Our long quest to find the last remaining Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, here's what we do. We go dumpster diving, pull out as many of the robots as we can, and then we'll make our own Chuck E. Cheese with blackjack and hookers.
Oh, no.
That's just a Dave and Buster's.
Roots. No. That is... Look, I saw the live-action Banana Splits movie. I do not want a recreation of that anywhere near us.
Holy I forgot that came out.
We have fun here.
I was gonna say, if we go dumpster diving for a bunch of robots and make our own Chuck E. Cheese, that's just 5 Nights at Freddy's. We're gonna get sued.
I mean, we're already gonna get arrested for dumpster diving, so why not?
That's not a crime, is it?
Not if you don't get caught.
It's too pathetic to arrest. Oh, one day I will tell you about the time that the dumpster in my college started floating away and some guys started riding it like a raft.
Roots, please just do your thoughts.
That's for a different episode.
Yeah. Okay. So as I was it kind of got lost in the shuffle, but I did the, I don't wanna die. I just wanna ride my motorcycle. Cool. Keep it in the G.I. Joe PSA jokes, and I'm gonna be running all night, folks.
Oh my god, I cannot wait for you to get to my favorite one. Yeah,
so with that, I'll start with Maze and Guerrera. Yuri Lowenthal and Matt Mercer were delights. I haven't seen the Side Leo episode yet. I guess it is actually kind of a hoot, so I'll probably come back around and check it out. But they're just lovable goofballs who are just trying to pretend to be serious. Like, it's like Team Rocket. They want to be these revolutionaries, but, you know, they're just kind of dorks.
Hey, at least Team Rocket managed to capture all the Butterfree in one episode.
Well, that was a fluke.
That's true. I think they even sent that episode saying, hey, don't we usually fail by this point in the episode? Yeah, just enjoy it while it lasts.
And then it didn't. Anyway, Matt Mercer and Yuri Lowenthal were just... They had to have gone into this knowing that these were just two dorks. And they just played them up really... Like, they're lovable doofs. And they're incredibly loyal to their boss. And, like, they just want what's best for their kind. And if it means, you know... blowing up a couple buildings here and there, you know, you can just build new ones. John Bentley and Billy Bob Thompson. I really like their dynamic together. It really does feel like they're playing up the brains and brawn of the characters. But then they're both incredibly loyal to their unit and really good friends with Gallo and the rest of the crew. I really like the banter between them and everybody at the pizzeria.
That's like their one really good moment to interact with each other as a group.
Yeah. Or after Gallo gets arrested and they're all reacting.
Like, what the hell did you do, boy?
Pretty much. Do forgive me if I'm breezing through this, but, like, Blair's there. Melissa Fawn gets a couple of lines, shows up. Like Andrew said, it's a paycheck. Like, she doesn't really get to do a lot, and it doesn't sound like she gets to do anything really major in the two little OVAs either.
Mm-mm.
But, you know, it's just one of those roles that have to get filled.
More or less.
She's on here because she gets a thing in the credits, that's why.
It literally blows up in her face and her name card comes up.
Like, all in all, this little group is fun. And, you know, Michael Sinter-Nicholas just getting to say, Vinny! I'm sorry. Can we bleep out a few of those? I said something really, really bad.
Also, if you thought a hamster eating a banana was impressive, how about a rat eating an entire New York-style hot dog?
I mean, if Pizza Rat taught us anything, they can eat fucking anything, man.
Pizza Rat's a legend.
I'm done.
Do you think Vinny was designed off of Pizza Rat?
You know what?
Dog rat.
There is a not 0% chance of that being the case.
I mean, Imaishi has explicitly made a cartoon about Trump getting beaten up by a flaming skeleton.
This is true!
Considering the number of references that Trigger loves to throw in, more than anybody can catch, I wouldn't put it past them that it was a reference to Pizza Rat. They
are definitely big fans of, like, Western stuff. Like, I was in a room where they did an Inferno Cop short literally just for my local anime con, and it ended with, like, a solid 3-minute chant of everybody in that room going, New Jersey! New Jersey! New Jersey! New Jersey!
The only time in anyone's life where they had pride for being from the state of New Jersey.
Look, I'm feeling a little prideful now. But yeah, it's when it does happen, it's far and few between.
Listen, you currently don't have a governor that tried to sell you an illegal bridge.
This is true. You, Christie, you piece of. Anyways,
guys, do we have to bring politics into this episode?
Oh, right. We're talking about Promare,
Yes.
the apolitical art piece that has nothing to say about the modern world whatsoever.
None at all.
Not at all. Absolutely not.
Nothing that relates to our modern existence. I'm sorry, Roots, did you get all your thoughts out?
Mr. Bottom Massage Machine, go!
What?
Is that another G.I. Joe reference?
Yes.
Okay.
I swear to God, if I hear the words help computer, I'm gonna lose my shit.
No, we're saving that.
It's gonna get dropped in here and I'm terrified.
So I would just like to say that I think Vinny was actually a really good character. I especially like the part where he controls Linguini to make the soup that saves the restaurant in the first act of the movie. Oh wait, that's the wrong rat! Shit. Guys, I think I watched the wrong movie. I'm sorry. What are we talking about again? I'm sorry. Okay.
I had a carbonated liquid in my mouth.
I mean,
You
And I have
had
to hold
it.
I mean, when you think about it, the giant dumbass nerd does make out with dark and gloominess.
Alright, so are you telling me that Vinny jumped onto Gallo's hair and was piloting the Deus Ex?
I mean, there.
Leo de Gala and the entire time?
Yes.
Yes. That's our game theory for this episode. Vinny was controlling Gallo all along.
I had carbonated drink in my mouth. My jawbone feels funny. I had to hold it in so I would not spit on my laptop.
I'm sorry to Megan's laptop, but it was well worth it.
I didn't. I swallowed like a good girl.
Honestly, that's way more entertaining than any thoughts I'm gonna have on this batch of characters. Because as Andrew and Roots did point out, they're interesting characters. They're interestingly designed. They just don't have much to do in the movie proper, which is good, which is very good. Because one thing I don't like about a lot of Trigger productions is their insistence on introducing a lot of characters and giving them a lot of screen time without giving them anything meaningful to do or without them having addition to the plot. I'm looking at you, BNA, as just one example, but that's for another episode. No. I will save those thoughts and put them in a box and save them for another episode. But for Promare, Varys, Remy, Gira, and Mice are introduced just the right amount to flesh out the larger cast of characters. Remy and Varys in particular. I believe that this is one of many groups of firefighters because like they're one of.
I think they're number 3.
Yeah, there's a lot, basically. They cover different parts of the city and concurrently the rest of the world. So I like that Trigger went to the time to have like 7 or 8 individuals who make up this group here. It would feel lesser if it was a small group of like just 2 or 3 individuals. And no qualms on the acting. Both John and Billy fill their archetypes very well. They're well-filled archetypes, and again, it felt like it's a dub. I did not feel like something got lost in the translation to Japanese. And I really did enjoy Yuri and Matt quite a bit. I especially like Matt's little line where he calmly tells one of the Burnish when they're breaking out, he says, "No problem for the boss." And it's like this very bro-ish kind of delivery that really conveys a lot of...
That was very New York.
Wasn't it?
At least he didn't try to call it a Maine accent.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
Not gonna try. I got called out for that last I forget which episode that was, but
it was No Guns Life.
There you go. We're not doing that again. I'm gonna stick to my Boston accent that sucks and move on from here.
Thank you, Marky Mark.
I need you to say the words "The Departed."
So you see, you scumbags, you scumsuckers, The Departed are what are making this movie absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love it so much. So Moise and Guerra are 2 of the bros that you want to have in your life. You want to have Yuri and
We're
Matt.
gonna get our ass kicked by the entire city of Boston.
Absolutely.
Noah, I want you to know that my entire body is cringing into a singularity right now.
I'm very sorry.
Keep it up.
Departed, pay your taxes.
Taxes! Thank you for someone else for getting that reference.
God, I feel like these podcasts need footnotes. Just somewhere at the bottom.
No, that's a video by Rooster Teeth.
I wouldn't know that. I imagine most of our listeners would, though.
I'll send you the AMV version of it. It's really good.
Okay. But yeah, to not make this section last much longer, these are all seasoned, Yuri and Matt in particular are like very seasoned actors, and if you watch the behind-the-scenes extras that came with the Blu-ray edition, Matt was talking about how he was just like absolutely pumped to be a part of this. I think he said he was a big fan of Gurren Lagann. So it's always fun to watch actors who are also big nerds as well. And we got another big nerd coming up later on who's also you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Who you're talking about too.
Yes, you do.
Oh boy.
It feels the dream, you know? Like, you podcast listeners out there, you are a big fan of anime, and if you stick to your training and you seek out the opportunities, you too could be cast in the next big Trigger production. You just got to keep trying and get better at it. and beat Matt Mercer. Being Matt Mercer helps.
You gotta believe.
Do the impossible, see the invisible, row, get the casting.
Darn it.
Row, get that casting.
There you go. I want to drop as many Gurren Lagann references as we can in this. I will break out into singing the theme song at some point in the episode.
Will you break out into the theme song first before the girl who sings it gets to sing a JoJo's opening?
Oh god, let her do Stone Ocean, for f***'s sake.
All right. I'll make you that deal.
You'll win that deal.
Yes. Where was I going with this? I was just gonna say, yeah, they're all well acted. There isn't a sour delivery or offline I could find in any of this. And Melissa Fawn does perfectly well. Also, she's good. She's all good. Archetypes were filled. Paychecks were collected. Megan.
No. So let's start with Blair. Thank you, Melissa Fawn, for providing your dulcet, sweet tones for a woman who is clearly okay enabling the destruction of minorities. Good job. Mace and Guerrera are a lot of fun. I actually couldn't believe that was Matt Mercer as Guerrera at first. I was like, bullshit! Mostly because they don't talk enough and I didn't get enough time to adjust to it. When I listened to it and I was like, yeah, that's Yuri as Mace. But Matt as Guerrero was the one that I couldn't believe. I'm not super familiar with either Billy or John, so I genuinely liked both of their performances. I can't say that I've watched Tiger and Bunny in English. I've watched like 3/4 of it in the sub.
It's a very Japanese show, so that's not unnatural.
I liked Tiger and Bunny though, but I would be willing to go back and do the dub.
I liked it back when it had corporate sponsors.
It still does, just not in the Netflix version.
Yeah.
That's a show that like eventually like I'll probably end up buying the Blu-ray for it just because
I do hope that it preserves the original broadcast version.
Season 2 is gonna have whole new sponsors, and it's gonna be fascinating.
I cannot believe that's getting.
I cannot wait for somebody to be sponsored by Pornhub.
No, I was gonna say Faku.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. They're legit now.
Only if the villain of Tiger and Bunny is sponsored by Tencent.
Ooh, spicy.
You joke, but that could legitimately happen.
Oh no, I'm expecting it to happen.
And there will be a Fortnite dance thrown in.
Okay, now you're pushing it.
So, Andrew, you do know that they make Fortnite and androids, right?
You know what? Never mind. Let's continue on.
So no, I wasn't, but I really liked Remy and Varys' voices. I thought that they were really, really well put together. I kind of do wish that they were in the movie more. I really like when, I'll admit, I really like when John's eating the pizzas with Gallo. Just that dumb bro carnal eating. And I'm just like, what the fuck, guys? What the honk?
What the Vinny?
What the Vinny? So no, I really like them. And then of course Michael as Vinny is Vinny the Departed. No, I actually really liked him. I thought he did the cute mascot voice without sounding super obnoxious. That being said, are we ready to move on?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's get into the science in your fighting cop dads. Lucia Flex is the Burning Rescue's tech lady. She is also here because Trigger seriously just keeps creating characters for this one Seiyu.
And God bless them for it.
They always love putting Mayumi Shintani in things, and I'll say this, on the rewatch of this, I realized Lucia Fex actually looks like one of their Trigger girls when I look closely at it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she might be that. But yeah, Lucia Fex is also, she's basically making all their tech, wants to do sciencey stuff, and kind of encourages Gallo's bullshit.
Good for her.
Ignis X is the chief of Burning Rescue. He is essentially your hot firefighter dad.
He's Axe Cop.
No, he's ass firefighter. Vulcan Hastis is the head of, basically the head of ICE.
Yep.
There's no way to dance around it. I forget what they're actually called.
They are actually called the Freeze Force.
That's a bad pun.
They're the Freeze Force.
Are you Buzz Lightyear? I love your movie.
What the fuck, Patrick? Okay. But Vulcan is essentially the head of the Freeze Force. He is one of the actually more antagonistic forces in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He also gets shot out of a dragon's eye at one point, and it's kind of badass. And then, it isn't a Trigger movie unless we have someone making us be able to go to space. Deus Prometh. He's a scientist that tried to-
Hey, kid! I'm a computer. Stop with all the downloading.
I knew it was coming! I knew it was coming and I couldn't stop it! I don't know anything about no computer. My mom... Okay, do you want to know what I know that from?
What?
I don't know it from G.I. Joe, I know it from Chobits.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
There's an AMV hell where somebody stuck that to Chobits. But yeah, Deus Pro...
Was that an AMV Hell mini bit?
3. I think it's in 3.
Okay, I was like, I know I've seen that clip somewhere before.
You can tell how old Noah and I are in terms of weebdom, that we can tell how old AMV Hells are, because there's so many f***ing Azumanga Daioh clips in it.
A is for unorthodox. M is
It's
for
for
subliminal.
subliminal.
V.
V. Audio visceral C. A. M. V.
V.
Hell! Oi! Sorry, anyway. But yeah, Deus Prometh, he was working with Cray, and then Cray shot him, so he uploaded his ass to a computer.
A2, Cray.
Was I cake the entire time?
Oh god, no.
Anyway, playing Lucy Effects is Kari Walgren, playing Deus Prometh is Mike Pollock, playing Ignis X is Steve Bloom, and playing Vulcan Hestius is Neil Kaplan. Kari Walgren, you'll know as characters such as Haruka Harahara in FLCO, Karina Lyle / Blue Rose in Tiger and Bunny, and Robin Senna in Witch Hunter Robin. She is almost always requested by Trigger to match her Seiyu.
Mayumi Shintani, I believe is her name.
Thank you. Mike Pollock, you'll know as Yakov Nikten in Dr. Stone, Add-on in Berserk, The Golden Age Arc 2, The Battle for Doldre, and Dr. Eggman in Sonic X.
It's an anime, it counts!
Steve Bloom, you'll know his characters such as Darsha in Wolf's Rain, Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop, and Kyogai in Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, as well as Leron in Gurren Lagann.
That's a completely different...
I don't know, but your rat seems kind of happy. Neil Kaplan, you'll know his characters such as Hawkmon in Digimon Adventure 2, Madara Uchiha in Naruto Shippuden, and Emperor Zarkon in Voltron Legendary Defender, which isn't an anime. I'm just here to talk about things with shit endings.
Also, please don't ask us which Madara Uchiha Neil Kaplan
Please
is. 'Cause
don't ask
Andrew and I
us.
couldn't figure it out.
The answer is yes. F*** off.
I don't know if I put that in there knowing what happened, but I'm gonna say I did.
Good on you.
Andrew, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I'll start with Dad Cop Ignis X, because Steve Bloom is about as veteran as they come, and he's got a nice, authoritative growl to his voice. He's very commanding. He gets things done. And I love that he is the dad of the group, because he's the one that calls out all of Gallo's dumb bullshit, where he's like, what kind of idiot poses while putting out the fire? He's a firm but fair leader. But he also sticks up for his people, and he butts heads, quite literally, with Vulcan, and it's awesome. He's also pretty good in, like, the tank top, where he puts on the thing. He's a good Commander Dad guy, and he's great. I also think...
Oh, that's right, he does wear a crop top.
He does wear a crop top.
He does.
I'll also say this.
Rock that crop top,
I
Dad!
think my favorite delivery from Steve as Ignis is when Gallo is literally running and keeping up with a moving vehicle, and he's like, we gotta put out that fire! And he just says very firmly, like that fire on your ass.
That was good.
It's like one of my favorite lines in the movie.
I love that part. I'll also talk about the slimy rat bastard pig who uses brutality to get the job done, Vulcan. Vulcan's a slimy piece of shit. He's a cruel, brutal guy who does things for the sake of justice to justify his own power-hungry brutality, to play with big, weaponized toys, and to pretend that he's defending the people when he's actually, subjugating them and treating them as subhuman. This is not a political movie at all, by the way. Not a political movie at all.
Nope.
I will say, Neil's got this really good, gruff, evil tone of voice. It's actually pretty menacingly evil for the most part. It's hilarious, but it's also weirdly goofy that he uses his own name as, like, a sound effect onomatopoeia. He's like, Vulcan. Vulcan! Vulcan! Vulcan punch! I'm like, oh my God, are you for real?
The least popular Pokemon.
He's such a evil, slimy bastard, and Neil is chewing up the scenery. He's an evil piece of that it's cool when he gets his rocked, and he gets out of his mech suit, and he's very much just a tiny baby man.
You know, just like most racists are.
Just like most racists. But yeah, no, Neil Kaplan does a great job. Mike Pollock. I'll say this. Mike Pollock and Deus Promare showing up is kind of where the movie does the trigger jump shark, so to speak.
Trigger projects don't jump the shark. They launch the shark into orbit.
I think, here's the thing. I think this is a great movie. I think it's a wonderful movie. I think the biggest criticism is that it kind of throws out the third act to do a cool thing, which I kind of think starts
Just like every Trigger everything ever.
True, but I think it's especially egregious in this one. That being said, Mike Pollock is a fantastic voice actor, and he does a great job doing this very dry, like, exposition dump. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek, which is fun, where he's like, how do you know all of this? I know because I am a computer. And it's like, okay, you know what? It's fun and tongue-in-cheek. And Mike Pollock does a great job. He's a great actor. And also, Kari Walgren. She's not always a Mayumi Shintani stand-in, but when she is, she's a gremlin motherfucker, and she is delightful. She is a ton of fun. She is this very chaotic creature, and she knows exactly what she's doing. She's very firm about her science. She's like, inventions that make money are nothing but heresy. She is that level of mad scientist.
She's a hipster scientist.
She's a hipster scientist. I make these things before.
No, she's a scientist with morals.
She's a scientist with morals, yeah. But I think also my favorite delivery in the movie is where Gallo is riding the Deus Ex Machina.
They called it. They literally called it.
Excuse me, that's Leo de Gallon to you, scrub lord.
That's the actual title, but the working title was the Deus Ex Machina.
You cannot do that. You cannot.
They fucking knew it. No, they were fucking with you.
Not allowed. Not allowed. Unacceptable.
I was actually laughing. I'm like, okay, they're being tongue-in-cheek about it. That's fun. But I think my favorite delivery from Kari as Lucia is when she sees them flying in the mech and she's like, what is it? Where did it come from? I need answers. Tell me, Gallo. And I'm like, oh my god. It's the level of chaotic energy is just perfect. But no, I think these are all fun, well-acted characters. And I'm going a little too long. Anyways, I'm done.
Okay.
Patrick. Oh. I almost said your last name! I almost ratted out my boyfriend's name.
You cannot call him by his full name of Patrick Starfish. Sorry, Roots.
Delete the little bit and poster. Add a little fire engine noise to it. That'll make it funnier.
What is Patrick's real name? Find out never on Dragon Ball Z. I know your name because I love you. Sorry, honey.
Let's see here. I'll start with the one who really doesn't do much compared to the others in terms of progressing the plot. Steve Bloom as Ignis X. I think he did a really good kind of bossish voice. I am actually kind of curious. I'll look it up later, but I'm wondering who his Seiyu is and if that's, feels like the kind of role that they would give the Seiyu of... Oh, never mind, they can't.
Were you thinking it was the Inferno Cop?
I was about to say Inferno Cop.
Yeah. I mean, it could have still been, to be fair. I think he only passed away recently. Rest in peace, sir.
Rest in peace.
If it makes you feel any better, yes, rest in peace. But the Japanese voice for Ignis was Riki Koyama, who is probably best known for the lead in Hajime no Ippo.
Ah.
Okay. Oh, okay. He's
very manly.
Is it Ippo himself, or is it the coach?
It is. He's Mamoru Takamura. That's the coach, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But he a manly man.
Yeah, he's gruff, he's manly, he's here to put out the fires, and basically providing commentary for everything that's going on. Sort of, again, I bring up the pizzeria scene, because he had some really interesting things to say about the situation going on. Oh, actually, his argument there with Vulcan over who has jurisdiction. That was a really interesting character dynamic moment.
When he calls him an asshole, I love the way Steve calls him an asshole.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Dad said a bad word.
Which actually brings me to Neil Kaplan and Vulcan. I love that he is just the deliciously evil dragon character, which for those unaware, I'm using the term dragon as in the second in command. Like, oh, he's just so good. He just drips with authority and abuse of power, and like, it is so on the nose. Again, the whole freeze force thing as a metaphor for ice, and the burnish as metaphor for like...
They are enforcing just ice.
Oh, god damn it.
God, I hate you. You're off this episode. Get out of my call.
And
That
Andrew-
was
No,
actually...
no.
Okay, look,
That was a good dad pun. I am reaching...
Okay, here's
I'm
the
opening
thing.
the door. Andrew, I'm opening the
Hang on.
door and
No, no,
saying,
no.
are you winning, son?
Hang on. That pun was not me. That was at a trigger panel when somebody was talking about a possible enemy that Inferno Cop could face one day was his rival,
God damn it, Trigger.
Just
Ice.
Oh.
I can't even be mad at you.
No, you could... Because it's a good pun. You people just have no taste.
Excuse me. Anyway, Patrick, you were still talking.
Yeah, no, Vulcan was really good, and Neil Kaplan, like, I'm literally coming off of talking about Neil Kaplan in Dragon Quest, where he was just this fun sort of mentorish character, and then, which, god damn it, the name, god damn it, the name.
The revelation in real time was fun.
Needless to say, Megan, it was another Endro moment.
Oh, that Endro means Enroll?
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah.
But then turning it around and contrasting that here in my conversation with you guys, where he's playing just one of the ultimate bad guys. Again, just the absolute representation of abusive authority. Like, it's just so good. So good. And I can't actually say anything bad about Kari Walgren. I have never encountered a performance of hers that I haven't liked. I just love the sheer amount of just injecting Monster Energy drink directly into her veins levels of pep.
She had that drink from Brand New Animal that's only designed for animals. What was that? It was like was it a Red
No,
Bull?
it was supposed to be Red Bull, but I forget what it was.
Yeah, it was like Red Centaur, something like that.
Red Minotaur.
There you go. Other mythological animal.
Look, I'm not saying Lucy FX has one of those shotgun keys that college frat boys shove into their beer cans.
But Lucy Effects does.
Specifically for Monster Energy drinks. But I would believe it if Trigger told me that.
Oh, Lucia totally does keg stands.
No, Lucia does keg stands, but the keg is Monster Energy drink.
We're not looting her, we're having her do illicit acts.
Here's how you know the girl's crazy. When we first see her in the movie and she's controlling the fire truck, it's not like a steering wheel or a normal control panel. It's an arcade panel. It is literally one hand controlling the button and the other is a joystick. She tricked that.
And Oban Star Racers had an entire ship powered by a DDR machine. This isn't new.
No, it's not. That's why I love it. More ships need to be powered by video game tech.
Oh my god, you're right.
I love this episode. I just need to say it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay, for those confused what just happened, I literally just sent them the image of the Trigger girls, and Lucia does look very reminiscent to, she's Spring. Spring is the blonde one.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Big titty one is Muzzle, and Trigger is Luluco, aka Trigger.
Yes. I mean, if you've gone to the effort to make your own animation studio, you get to recreate your favorite tropes over and over again until they stop giving you money.
Oh boy. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so last but not least, Mike Pollock, whom I was a teenager in the days of Fox Box and, oh god, what did they call it when they moved over to the CW? I forget, but like, needless to say, I was just constantly exposed to 4Kids anime growing up. So it is an absolute delight to hear Mike Pollock in, like, sort of designed for adult anime kind of roles. Like, he's just this nurturing old guy who just wants to put an end to Kray's plans. Like, there's not a lot to his character arc. He just shows up and he's just like, yeah, I'm a computer. And And he just constantly references himself as a
Stop
computer.
all the downloading.
My mom put a couple of games on it. And...
That's what I was waiting for. The game is Darling in the Franxx, but it's butt sex.
But yeah, Mike Pollock was really good in a way that I can't really describe with words. He just plays off of Leo and Gallo so well. Like, that is the strongest point of Mike Pollock's performance in this movie. It is, he plays off of everyone he interacts with so well. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to Noah now, because I'm kind of rambly.
By the way, I believe it was called the CW for kids.
Okay, there we go.
That's very lazy. I don't even know what CW stands for.
I don't think I know either, actually.
Does it mean anything?
Who cares?
Did they just... Did they get a Ouija board and just pick the first two letters?
When you said Ouija board, I thought you said Waluigi board.
Waluigi!
I think it's because it's owned by CBS and Warner.
But what does the C in CBS stand for?
I'm gonna look this up. Continue talking.
I legitimately think the C in CBS is Columbia.
Waluigi say Noah talk about the performances.
You go ahead and do that, Andrew. But the problem with this episode is that we're all kind of on the same level. Like, I haven't heard any discerning arguments yet, and that's not going to change in this section either. Because yeah, I also agree with what Andrew and Ruth said about the performances for Mike, Steve, Neil, and Kari. I'll talk about Mike to start with for his Deus Ex Machina, god damn it all, because the one thing, the trait that I kind of figured out I hate the most about Trigger is that they have a tendency to try to over-explain everything that goes on in all of the things they do. They come up with these grand, fantastical set pieces for their studio to animate, which look great, but they feel the need to justify an in-universe reason for why it's happening, and it bogs down the show or the movie sometimes. Like, let us infer. Let us just enjoy the spectacle. We don't need to know the deep history or the scientific reason behind the magic, or we don't need to know the genetic reasoning why all this is happening exactly. And the thing they do well in this movie is that they do explain about not time traveling. They're going to great lengths to explain how the Burnish are going to be spun around like yo-yos to power a hyperdrive. No, it's not a hyperdrive. It is a jump through space.
It's like a warp drive.
Yes, thank you. Like a black hole through space, because that's the only way they're going to be able to get to another planet.
When the gravitron at the county fair has gone too far.
Exactly. It's terrifying. It is. I'll give him credit. I'll give the movie credit. I have never heard of a movie or anywhere of spinning people with fire powers very fast to make ship go boom. I have never heard that before.
Only Imaishi.
The only thing, the closest thing I've seen is that one Kids Next Door episode where they've harvested all the kids and are milking their spit to be used in this evil scientific thing where the adults have taken over the world.
Thank you for saying spit, because my mind was somewhere else.
It's a kid's show, Megan!
I know, I've been broken by anime.
Kids Next Door has done some gross shit. Remember the eye crust episode?
I actually missed that one.
Andrew, please don't remind me of the pink eye episode.
Mr. Warburton told a story that his wife literally went to him about that episode. It was like, dude, what the fuck?
I'm surprised there's a Mrs. Warburton still after that show.
I almost called him Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
Isn't Mr. Warburton also a huge One Piece fan?
I think he could be. I don't know.
I think he's posted fan art of the Kids Next Door characters in anime styles before.
Would not surprise me.
So, my point was that... What was my point? My point was that...
Only Imaishi!
Yes, Mike's portrayal of Deuce in this movie exists as a very utilitarian method, let's explain to the audience how I died, and basically leading into the third act, here's the giant robot, go have fun. And Mike does a good job in portraying the exposition about how we got killed. He's aged sounding, because he's supposed to be an older character, but without sounding grizzled. He sounds distinct from the other older actor characters in the show. In the movie. This is a show, but it's also a movie show. And it's good. It is very good. I actually did not recognize him as Dr. Eggman from Sonic X, even though, like I said, Oliver had just finished watching that whole show. Just, let it run in the background. So I'd heard his voice a whole lot. Heard a whole lot about the crystals and about the trying to take over the world and the robots that don't follow his orders and hitting on Rouge, and that should probably get him arrested. But in this movie, he does a very good job. Steve Blum is a bit unrecognizable, at least compared to what he's normally known for. Because I'm used to, the Spike Spiegel voice, the Amon voice. And it's nice to hear that he gets a chance to do something that's a little outside of that. Now, he's got the same gruffness, but it's a tiny bit higher pitched. It's like more closer to the top of the throat instead of down here in the way back part of the throat. I can't emulate that voice, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a shame that Ignis doesn't get to do much more in the movie. I feel like the movie kind of threw us all off, because if a character gets a title card with their name on it, we were kind of anticipating that they would be more prominent in the movie, and some of them just don't get to be, but that's okay. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a side manga or some other like Promare parallel works that expands upon the universe of these characters after the movie's done. And you guys were all right about what you said about Neil Kaplan's Vulcan performance. Although, one thing that I'm not sure if I'm right or not about this, but this is only because I know about Imaishi's big Marvel boner. Did anyone think that Vulcan kind of looked and acted and sounded a bit like the villain Venom from the Spider-Man mythos?
I did not think Venom.
Mostly just the all-black design with the shiny...
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Okay, here's what it is. He's got a bit of a Venom, but the reality is he's more of a MODOK.
Yeah.
MODOK?
He's literally a MODOK, because MODOK is a giant head in a giant robot body.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With like little tiny arms and shit. I think he's getting a new animated series about his family, and Patton Oswalt's gonna be in it.
By the way, yes,
that wouldn't surprise me.
You want to talk Marvel boners? Yes, Imaishi loves his Marvel comics, and let's get the obvious out of the way. There's some X-Men similarities.
I think you're reading too much into this, Andrew. There isn't a
There's no politics in this.
There's no politics in X-Men either. It's just colorful superheroes punching each other to solve their problems.
Magneto literally punched a Nazi with his bare fists.
That was very satisfying to read those panels.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this the old-fashioned way.
Comics are dumb, but they're also awesome. But they're also stupid, but I love them.
God bless them for that. And Kari Walgren is really, really great. I love one little line she's got where Ignis is kind of confronting her about this new mech suit that she designed for Gylo, and she's being really coy about it, and she's like, I'm sorry, it's just a personal project. Like, trying to hide how absolutely into her work she is.
She's just, like, overjoyed, like, yes, I get to do this stupid shit today.
She was a lot of fun to watch, and I think she got like just as much screen time as she needed, because it was just the right amount of energy and levity we needed at that part in the movie. So, Megan, I'm sure you've got thoughts on these four characters.
Yeah, I'll start with Ignis. Steve Blum does Steve Blum things. I like Steve Blum things. He doesn't try to ham it up. I actually kind of really like this, like, very straight cop Ignis, especially because I was just rewatching this. I was also just coming off of, his performance as the villain in Wolf's Rain, which is a lot.
That's a very extreme Steve.
It is a lot of a lot.
It's a very stark difference in tonality and color palettes and character.
And facial hair.
And facial hair.
Don't lie, Ignis is rocking a bitchin' mustache.
Ignis he's got the dad handlebars. I was gonna say end music, but I'm sorry, as much as I love you, Sawano, I don't think you're topping Kano and Wolf's Rain. That's like my favorite anime OST of all time now. But I really enjoyed it. I do kind of feel like at some point I was like, oh, okay, this is just Steve Blum, and maybe that's just, again, because of Ignis. Kaplan as Vulcan is really interesting, because I don't get to watch a lot of shit with Neil Kaplan in it. And I put Voltron Legendary Defender down because that was the last thing I remembered watching him in. And Zarkon is Zarkon, and big and grumbly and very low and monstrous. And then when I also think back to Hawkmon, who sounds like a total dweeb, and I love it. So hearing him be Vulcan, who was so gleefully evil, and Kaplan putting that into his performance where, like, there is no redemption for a man like Vulcan, who gets off on shooting up minorities and bringing them in and flirting the law like oh yeah, well, harboring a burnish if there are no terrorists. It's like, this is a pizza man. It's like, yeah, well, you never know, and just throws him in there, and how he delights in, like, hearing the cries of the burnish, and Vulcan's an awful person, and I love the reveal that he is just a sad, sad little man in the end.
It's satisfying, yeah.
It's very satisfying. It's very, very satisfying, and I'll talk more about the political aspects of this when we talk about the main actual villain of this movie. Deus, Mike Pollock. Mike Pollock is really weird, where I don't have a lot of memories of watching, like, Sonic X as a kid. So for me, the weirdest thing, like, the most two recent things I've seen him in are Funimation stuff, where he does a Russian accent, in one of them, and then he gets exploded by Ian Sinclair in the other.
I know exactly what the other is, yep.
Have you started watching that finally?
I have not. I'll get to it, I promise.
So I really liked him as this, like, kind of creepy sentient robot voice, but I liked that he wasn't robotic. I liked that he was just kind of big and booming and older sounding, and just like, yes, I know, I am a computer. I've been waiting for you. How'd you know we were there? Bitch, I've got cameras.
Was it always destined to be us? No, you just happened to walk in.
I love that. I do love that.
Like, even they know at that point, they're just fucking with people who are like, well, if you're gonna complain about all the trigger shit, we're just gonna do it anyway and say fuck you as we do it.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, they didn't have to lampshade the plot at all, but I'm glad they went full ham on it.
Yeah, it's like, that is also my biggest criticism, is like, when I was in the theater watching it, there were actually genuinely points in this movie that was like, damn, I did not expect this at all. That's really heavy. And there was always this thing in the back of my mind is like, at some point, this is going to become a trigger movie. There it is.
I will admit, I actually let out a laugh in the theater when I realized it was aliens all along.
I was like, yep, there it is.
Okay, we're going there, sure.
There didn't need to be a reason. Like, it didn't have to be explained as, it could have been aliens, it could have been mutants, it could have been little spaghetti people.
I was like, where is it? Ah, there it is. But let's talk about Kari. I mean, it's not a bad performance, I'm just annoyed that they had her do the same thing as Haruko. And I'm like, okay, I get it, that's the same type of character, can we not? Kari is a very versatile actress, and I just feel like them shoehorning her into the performance is, like, kind of just, like, a minor gripe for me. I really like it. I really like when, her and Remy tell him Gallo to knock it off, that, we can't tell people to believe, like, what they don't want to believe, even if it sucks. And just her delivery of even if it sucks is just really good. And there is nuance to the performance. I'm just also like, look, it's Kari doing the screamy gremlin lady voice again. But, again, it's not a bad performance, it's just a personal gripe.
Yeah, so that's not really an issue of performance, it's a matter of overextending the exposure of that kind of voice.
It's not even that, it feels like Trigger specifically goes out of the way to make these characters for her seiyuu, and then they request Kari. That's its own other thing. I don't think it's that actress in BNA, but there's even a English performance in BNA that sounds super, super familiar to Kari's performance, but it's not Kari.
Yeah, I don't think that seiyuu is in BNA.
No, it's the seiyuu who is Susie, that somebody told me.
Oh, that's a really different voice.
Yeah, it's its own thing. But in English, they have the actress who plays her, there are points where I actually got her mistaken for Kari Walker doing a performance like this. But sultrier.
Yeah, that's for a different episode.
But that's its own thing.
Yeah.
That's for its own episode. But no, again, I really like this, and I really like when Kari gets to have those gremlin-y moments. I was just also like, oh, okay, we're doing this. So, with that being said, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
I'm ready for some. I feel like we need some sister power in this sausage fest.
Also, just because there's no way to really work this in organically, yes, CW is CBS and Warner.
You're right. There was no organic way to fit that in.
They're just like sisters coming together, like Aina, Ardbite, and Harris.
I stand corrected.
Ardbite.
Bless you, Megan.
Bless
That was
you.
That was so good.
I've been molded by it.
Forged by
Now Megan, do the sister theme song.
I can't. I'm too white for that.
Aw. Off camera.
No. Aina is a member of Burning Rescue. She's essentially the aerial support unit, / is the person who realizes that Gallo might be the most emotionally supportive himbo of all time, and yet she gets literally dropped on the ice and finds out that Gallo might like Matoi more than Taco. Harris is Aina's older sister. She's a scientist who is working with the Foresight Foundation, and she is knowledgeable about the Warp project the entire time, And I actually think that these two have a very interesting character dynamic and arc that actually plays out pretty organically in the movie. And frankly, talking about Harris is going to be really interesting because we have to talk about the morality of her character.
Yes.
Playing Ina is Allison Lee Rosefeld, and playing Harris is Erica Lindback. Allison Lee Rosefeld you'll know as Kahori Harukawa in Psychic School Wars, Hazuki Kato in Liz and the Bluebird, and Bonnie in Pokemon X and Y. Erica Lindback you'll know as Yuki Kaizuka in I'll Know a Zero, Jericho in The Seven Deadly Sins, and Ren Kogyoku in Magi. Erica Lindback is also a giant Trigger fangirl.
What if you
She's specifically a huge Gurren Lagann fan too.
The very first thing they asked in the interviews for the behind-the-scenes footage was, like, what attracted you to the project? And they got on her first, and the very first thing, she starts geeking out about how much she loved Gurren Lagann.
What a fucking champ.
That was satisfying to watch. The sad thing at first was that she thought that they had already cast and recorded the dub.
Oh no!
But then she got her dream, and she got to be part of this, and all was good with the world.
She actually has a pretty big part in this too, all things considered.
Oh yeah, she won the lotto.
Good for her.
She won the nerd lottery.
Alright, so I'll start with Ina first. Ina Artebit. First of all, I'll say this. While this movie's good for the gays, Ina's a babe too. Ina's definitely a babe too, and she's got a very Tifa Lockhart-esque design, which I know like our buddy Hardy is definitely into. It's a bit of Tifa and it's a bit of Yoko. It's a little bit of the both.
Mm-hmm.
Very appealing. She's got this right level of like sass and charm to her. She's super fun. She's super cute. I love the scene where she and Gallo have like a moment on the ice together. It's actually like a really sweet scene. Like it's actually really like emotional, and they get to be very like open with one another and like get their feelings about stuff. And it is both adorable and hilarious that the movie bait and switches you. Because they literally change the lighting of him catching her and make it look super romantic as he's leaning in, and she just closes her eyes, puckers her lips ever so slightly,
and then she just drops her.
and then she's just like, same old Gallo.
Damn it, I've been clam jammed once again.
But yeah, no, Allison does a great job. She's got that energy, she's got that sass. And she does a really good job, and I love her dynamic with Ellis. They spell it Harris, they say Ellis. Where the is the H sound? Where's the H?
You know what? I'm gonna find out if this was like... Trigger likes to pull weird language quirks from whatever language sounds.
Here's the thing, look. This is another thing about Japanese things, is that they have the final say when it comes to name pronunciation. And I'll say this, the good thing is they are consistent with how they say her name. They are consistent with the pronunciation. I'm just bothered that they say Ellis and they spell it Harris, and it bothers me. That's all I'll say on that. But anyways, speaking of Harris, aka Ellis, Erica Lindbeck is a goddamn phenomenal actress. She is a dubious character who will do what she needs to make sure that her sister survives the Covenant. I love the emotional, like, strain in her voice when she is talking to Gallo, and Gallo's like, your sister is not gonna forgive you for this. And she's like, I don't care. As long as my sister survives, I'll do what needs to be done. Before realizing, yeah, her boss is kind of a terrible person, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to over humanity and the world itself before turning turncoat and sabotaging the whole project. I love how, like, emotionally, like, conflicted she is. I love when she's confronting Cray, and Cray turns off her mic, and she's like, you turned off my mic, didn't you? It's like, no, it was an attack from outside. You know what must be done. I understand. And I love this coldness in her voice and this like level of sad warmth when she's embracing Ina. It's like, you're gonna get a call. I need you to be on that ship. Please do it for me. And she actually does a wonderful, like, emotional performance. But yeah, no, she is a very dubious character. And I think that's really interesting. And Erica Lindbeck, I'd say, of the not top 3 cast, is definitely the strongest and most notable performance. And Erica Lindbeck is living the weeb dream, and I'm proud of her. I think both Allison and Erica do a great job as the Ainabet sisters. I'm done.
Ah, okay.
I was like, G.I. Joe reference, where'd it go?
Oh,
Did you lose it? Are you winning, son?
Are you cake, son?
Are you burnished, son?
Arson.
God.
There's our boy.
Alright, so the Artemis sisters are actually really interesting and sort of, I honestly kind of think that they are the moral polars of the movie. You know, the poles of morality.
Mm-hmm.
Aina is, I feel like she's thirsty for Gallo. Like,
No.
No uncertain terms there.
She wants to ride his disco stick. She wants to climb that fire ladder. Play with his hose.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Gallo, get over here and extinguish my flame.
But yeah, I like that she's the one person in Burning Rescue who can just knock sense into Gallo. I really like their scene at the frozen lake bed, where he's basically explaining to her, you know, how he found the place. Maybe I'll have a little bit more to say about that when we actually get to Gallo here in a minute. But I love how conflicted she is, especially when she starts to learn of what is actually going on with Ellis and this whole project she's doing. Also, Ellis herself and the morality conflict she has with actually learning that she's using the life force of the Burnish in order to create this portal that's supposed to take them to another world. I think they're really interesting characters who kind of skirt their own morality lines and, you know, start to learn more things about themselves as this whole conflict erupts. And I think Allison did a really good job, you know, portraying the sort of protective... Oh, I don't know the word. Like, she's protective of Gallo, basically. And Ellis, in her own roundabout way, and Erica Lindbeck playing her, kind of has sort of the same thing toward Aina. Like, it's just really interesting stuff to watch. Honestly, I like the performances. It's just... I'm trying to find ways to sort of frame what I feel about the character arcs themselves.
Here's a question, Roots.
Yeah.
Do you believe that Aina and Ellis are similar to Anna and Elsa from Frozen?
Why? Why are you like this? Why are you like this?
Why are you booing me? I'm right!
You know what?
I groan at that, but at the same time, I can't say that you're wrong.
I legitimately don't think that was intentional.
I'm pissed off about this.
But
You know what? Here's the thing. That's...
there's Andrew's catchphrase.
Oh, fuck you. Okay, look. Okay. Here's the thing. I wasn't even going to talk about a Disney reference. It just hit me as I'm watching this, cause Lindbeck is a big Gurren Lagann fan. You know what character that Ellis reminds me of? Keenon. She reminds me of Keenon, the middle Keaton sibling, aka Stephanie Shea, aka Rosiu's +1.
Okay.
She's got glasses, she's a bit of a cold scientist person who will do what she will have to for the sake that the people she loves and care about can survive the impending end of the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's very similar now that I think about it, yeah.
But yeah, I just, in general, like both of the performances. I like how they're able to play both sides of the characters' moralities, and, like, it's just interesting stuff. You can go ahead, Noah.
she's just a science girl getting to another world. She took the burnish flame going anywhere.
I'm upset. I'm upset that works.
Andrew, you can leave the corner. Noah, get the hell in the corner.
Yes, man! That's where I belong. This corner was made for me!
Calm down there, Junji Ito.
God.
Andrew, you're free from the corner. Come over here and have a juice box.
Yay! Juice box.
At least give the man a pizza.
He's got to work his way up to that.
The pizza's still in the oven. He's got to wait for
I actually
it.
have pizza waiting for me downstairs after this, so cool.
Damn.
You want to know what's really bad when you say I have pizza?
What?
If they're in love, why does the pizza man keep spanking the babysitter? If you know what that's from.
I don't, but that's just hilarious.
I'm not saying what it is on recording, because I want the people in the comments to figure out what that's from, but when I tell you what it is, you'll all be pissed.
Did somebody order a pizza? Yeah, but I don't have any money.
Then why did you order a pizza?
Does it come with an extra large sausage? I'll save that one for the next section, because it's their entire relationship in a nutshell. Noah, if you can go ahead, I'm so sorry.
I'm
so dead inside.
I'm just that John Travolta gif right now, just from Pulp Fiction. Just what? Where? I don't get this. To all your references, I don't get them. But that's okay, because they make me laugh, so I'll live with it. These characters. All right. In all seriousness, I don't have qualms with these two either. I was hoping that once we get to the higher characters that I have more qualms with either the acting or their role in the movie. I don't have any with Allison or Erica. Allison, when we first are introduced to her, she is the only other girl character in the group. But I like that they cast Allison, her voice, to basically contrast Kari's voice, because Kari is the pepper, chippier voice, and then you got Allison, who's got her more mature, commanding voice, and she really gets to stretch her chops at the pizza scene, because she starts, like, really getting on the shouty side when they try to take the pizza guy away.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, no, when she, like, stands up for him and she's citing law.
Yeah, and, I mean, the really evil thing about Vulcan is not just the fact that he's an advocate for imprisoning minorities, it's the fact that the other patrons of the pizza place are, like, disgusted when they find out that their pizza was made by a burnish, so they share his beliefs that all burnish should basically be eliminated as soon as possible. That is the banality of evil, unfortunately, people.
Racial prejudice, yeah.
Remember, when the good people say nothing, the bad guys win.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know what else is really bad? Just something I don't like? Introducing a character ass first to the camera. That is something that I don't think that we should do. And that's what they did with Aina.
That's true.
They introduce her, and that's the first thing I wrote, because she's got, like, a flying machine.
The thing about the burning rescue is that they all have what I feel like would be a really good toy line of, like, vehicles, and Aina's got the cool flying thing.
Yeah, and she makes good use of it, because she's basically a rescue vehicle. It's got space for rescuing a bunch of people, but can't introduce a female lead character without doing the Darling in the Franxx style introduction of the character. Luckily, that's as sexual as she really gets in the rest of the movie. The whole movie is incredibly cheesecake free, honestly, for such a man-retastic kind of movie, and I'm grateful for that.
I mean, if you think about it, though, it's kind of light on the cheesecake, but there's plenty of beefcake to go around.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
It is hot, roasted.
We're so getting there.
Yes, we will. And so I'm glad that the two sisters are respectable members of their particular career. Like, the fact that they're women who are high up in whatever field they're in is not played as a joke or something to mock. It's sad that has to be commended, but it's just because it's so unique in anime, unfortunately. So I'm glad that they, played that up in this. And like I said, Allison's really good as Aina, and Erica is really good as Ellis. She's soft and compassionate, which is also a good contrast to Aina's more confrontational, her confrontational voice. She also offers a good explanation of basically what they're doing. It's okay if we get a little wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey with the science in this, and I like that they did that. Like, they actually didn't just make up bullshit science for this. You really can find scientific theories that are about warp technology, and they have found planets that are similar enough to Earth, but they're just too far away that we couldn't get to them in our lifetime. So people who are concerned about, getting to a new planet, that's a real legitimate concern. It's one of 20 things that they're juggling in this movie, but the astronomy person in me quite enjoyed that.
Omega Centauri is also a real, cluster, by the way.
Yeah, the wording on here is the stars and the constellations and the galaxies are rooted in what actually exists. We don't have people who burn fire from aliens that could get us there just yet, but other than that, the science is mostly sound.
To quote Gurren Lagann, all the lights in the skies are stars.
I mean, no, some of them are planets. Well, actually, some of the light from the sky are from planets, not from stars. Thank you very much.
Okay, shut the f*** up.
I couldn't not say it! Someone in the comments was going to correct me if I didn't.
All right. It's better than that than where's the full movie?
You know what? True.
Yeah, please, people, if you've gotten this far in the episode and you still want to make that comment, please don't. But, yeah, no qualms. No qualms with Allison and Erica. I will save my fun things to say for the next group. Megan, your turn.
Oh, the next group is going to be hysterical, y'all.
Yes, it is.
So I'll start with Ellis, actually. I really like this performance out of Erica Lindbeck. Erica Lindbeck is an actress, I think, that can do a lot of things, and her range has constantly impressed me over the last, 5 years that I've been watching her work, from her characters such as Saber of Red and Apocrypha, who is a very gritty tomboy, to Ellie in Love Live, which is, I got to do the movie for that, so this is the second time I've actually got to talk about her and celebrate the movies at once. Or Jericho, who is this kind of, older kind of girl voice. But, Ellis is just so quiet and soft and just... Part of me feels like Ellis is a little dead inside, and that part of her has died is just that it's not that she's unloving, it's that her love of her sister has become something so fierce that she's willing to sacrifice the health and well-being and safety of others to do that. Because the other thing, too, about this whole thing of the burnish being used as basically human fuel is that the project is only going to save... It was 10,000 people, and it's basically implied that it's 10,000 of the people who could pony up. So it wasn't like the people at the pizzeria who were like, ew, a burnish made this, were ever going to get on that ship. Hell, I don't think people like Ignis or Remy or Varys or Lucia were gonna make it on there. God knows we all know Gallo wasn't. We all know Gallo wasn't.
We talking about? Well, we gotta repopulate the planet. You gotta have some testosterone on that ship.
I'm sorry, Gallo. The only thing Gallo is repopulating is Leo's ass.
Oh, come on.
Andrew, I need you to go on to AO3, and of those explicit Gallo fics, I need you to pare them down to ABO dynamics.
Don't do it.
I will do it. I have time to kill. Just continue on.
So, I think that Erica having to play this character where she knows that she's doing stuff that is morally reprehensible, but has to live with the fact that, of her own logic, that is, I'm doing this for my sister. But also, she also has to play it partially that she has been duped by Cray, because she doesn't know that Cray murdered Deus and is doing this for his own game, nor does she know that about Cray himself, which is, we'll get into the next section. So I really want to applaud Erica for having to play a character like that with so much nuance and subtlety in a movie that has little to no nuance and subtlety. Okay, little to no subtlety, this movie does have nuance. And then Allison is again an actress I'm not super familiar with. I don't watch Pokemon anymore. I am not the market for the Pokemon anime. I just know that Ash finally fucking won a championship. But he got totally jobbed in the Kalos region where Bonnie is from.
Oh my God.
That's the story, right? He got jobbed in Kalos.
Oh, Jesus, did he get jobbed?
Did they have two legendaries?
No, that's Sinnoh. No, in the Kalos stuff, they introduce a character in the side story. There are like little side story episodes that aren't counted as numbered in, the XY chronology in Japan. This guy shows up at the Kalos League, completely tears Ash to shreds, and then Team Flare shows up and fucks everything up. And then, 3 of Ash's Pokemon stay in Kalos, and he brings nothing back with him.
Ash got jobbed.
X and Y suck. Let's be real.
Sun and Moon, good. Allison did a really good job playing Aina. She was very upbeat and stuff, and I really like how she kind of, I think, adapted a lot of Gallo's actors' steadfast optimism into her performance by the end of the movie, because Aina is a good person and Aina is morally centered. God, you just feel so bad for her getting clam jammed. But I was really impressed by Allison's performance, especially as an actress that I'm not super familiar with. So, really great job there. Alright, let's end this off with a bang.
And speaking of ABO dynamics, I will tell you, for Promare, I found 34.
Good God. There are people in the comments going, Megan, why do you know what that is?
There are people on this podcast wondering how you know what that is.
I'll explain to you after. Anyway, let's talk about our last 3 characters who are the central characters to this film. Cray Forsyth! He is a politician and a businessman.
Get off the stage.
He is a politician and a businessman who, quote-unquote, saved Gallo's life when he was a child, therefore Gallo looks up to him and always wanted to be him. In truth, he is a Burnish who accidentally went wild and Gallo ran into his arms. He used that moment to start his empire and eventually tried to use his own kind as fossil fuel to save 10,000 people because, boy howdy, I will fucking get into that.
I will let you get the floor for all of the analysis about Cray Foresight.
I want to talk about this! Leo Fotia is the leader of the Mad Burnish, according for 30 years, but he looks like a little boy. Don't worry, he's not. He is the leader of the Mad Burnish, who essentially is actually kind of a pacifist. The Mad Burnish don't kill unless they have to, they only set the fires to answer the voice inside of him, telling him to burn things. But in truth, he is a good person. He only wants to stop the oppression of the Burnish because in their mind, they are still human, they still do need food, they are alive. Galatimos is a himbo.
You couldn't describe him in any other way except the word himbo.
Yep. It's legal. I'm legally obligated. Now, Galatimos is our lead character. He is the rookie of Burning Rescue. He's a big idiot with a bigger heart and a bigger moral compass who actually kind of has to learn not to be racist.
It's true.
Which
just learned about racism.
True.
Shit sucks, man.
Every time I hear that, I don't think of Gallo, I think of fucking Dimitri from Three Houses. Which is really funny knowing Roots and Mind's main ship from that game. So, playing Cray Foresight is Crispin Freeman, playing Leo Fotia is Johnny Young Bosch, and playing Galatimos is Billy Kometz. Crispin Freeman you'll know as characters such as Sume in Wolf's Rain, Zelgada's Grey Swords in the Slayers franchise, and Haji, the Sebastian that you wish Sebastian from Black Butler was, in Blood Plus. Come and fucking fight me in the comments. I'm sorry, if you've seen Blood Plus, Haji is Sebastian but better, and not potentially a Shotokan. Johnny Young Bosch you'll know his characters as Chokuro in Children of the Whales, Ryunosuke Uru in Fate Zero, and Sabo in One Piece Stampede. Billy Kometz you'll know his characters such as Anai in Agretzko, Mika in Drifting Dragons, Mikhail in Sirius the Jaeger, and because I have been cupping his wonderful, wonderful titties this entire podcast, he is also Ferdinand von Ayer in Fire Emblem The Three Houses. To which, if you actually go to Billy Kometz's Twitter, that is his entire Twitter bio.
Wait, is it? Hang on, I need to actually...
It is.
I am Ferdinand. Okay, Gallo is the banner, but his bio is I am Ferdinand von Ayer.
It's von Ayer, by the way.
Perfect.
Yeah. Noah, if I had to explain Ferdinand von Ayer as a character, he's a less himbo Gallo who is also a horse girl.
I love the way you describe these things.
There's like there's puzzle pieces in my brain that are trying to fit themselves together with the words. Like, I know you used words, and I know they mean stuff, but they don't make... They don't
connect in your brain.
In the electric company here, those two things don't make a solid sentence together. It's like trying to imagine what...
He is a less himbo Gallo who is also a horse girl.
Brain no, 404 error, file not found.
And his favorite horse may or may not be a dirty vampire man played by Robbie Damon.
Okay.
I think Andrew needs
there is no organic segue from this. Let's just move on.
I'm not sorry for putting my Ferdy Bird agenda into this episode. Andrew, please talk.
I'm sorry, Ferdy Bird?
Ferdy Bird! Ferdinand Hubert mushed together! That's the ship name!
I miss doing this. Okay. So, let's start with Cray Foresight!
Foresight!
Okay, so, do you guys like Crispin Freeman?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Crispin Freeman acting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you also like Crispin Freeman taking a golden plate of ham, chewing it till the cows come home?
Go on.
Well, here ya go. Cray Foresight. He is stern, strict, and deliciously hammy. He is the right level of political authority, charisma, corrupt politician, menacing overlord, and kooky sad AM villain man. He is all of that and somehow actually believable. It's like, here's the thing. I don't believe they really actually dumbed this down as much as they think they did, because it's all of what Craig Forsyth is actually laid out pretty clearly from a couple of rewatches. He is a good politician. He is a stealth minority who is using his own authority to try and be better instead of fixing the planet he's... Okay, right. Political stuff. All I'm just gonna say is, God, I love the part where he gets so fucking goofy, evil, maniacal, and he starts yelling at Billy for going full ham, and he's like, "Stop making up stupid names!" And then proceeds to make his own stupid names, and then scream, cackle, and yell maniacally. Holy Craig Crispin Freeman's chewing the scenery, and he does a goddamn good job at being an evil All Might.
Yep.
I hate you. I forgot that he's just evil All Might.
That's right down to the smile.
Like, right down to the smile. Leo Fotia. Johnny Young Bosch. He's a veteran actor. He's doing what Johnny Young Bosch is good at, but I'd also argue, god damn it, the highlight of his performance in this movie is definitely the moment I fell in love with this movie.
The dragon.
No, that's the moment where I fell in love with this movie.
The moment I fell in love with the movie is where it transitions, and then you hear his theme song. When he is literally so angry, he breaks out of an impenetrable cold bullet, tears it out, breaks it open, and explodes in the coolest fashion and becomes an evil flaming dragon while Kakuse is playing. And it's the moment where I'm like, oh my god, watching that in a theater, I'm like, It is that moment. It's like, it's watching the My Hero movies. It's watching Goku versus Broly in Super Broly. It's that moment of cool, my foot is tapping along, I become a 12-year-old in a movie theater, shaking my popcorn, and it's the best. Oh god, it's so good. But yeah, no, Johnny Young Bosch, he's really good. He's a fantastic Leo Fotia. He does a great job doing the level of emotion, anger, sincerity, and, like, cool factor to Leo Fotia. Billy Kometz as Galotimos. In my humble opinion, the best performance in this dub.
Say what?
The best performance in this dub. In my humble opinion. And it is also, I don't think it is my favorite Billy Kometz, but he's definitely top 3. He is a wonderful, well-meaning moron. I love how he talks about his burning firefighter spirit, where he's doing his whole thing about the thing from a far island nation, and he's doing his thing, oh, I will face you, you mad British bastards, and it's just that level of ham and charm, and it's great. I also love those moments he gets to cool flirt with Leo Fotia before you even know they're gonna bone, where he says, you know, I didn't get naked just for fun, you know. Like, you could just hear the sexual tension just running off of that. He's got this great charm and sincerity. He wears his entire heart on the sleeve that he doesn't have. He's corny and cheesy, but full of this right level of machismo spunk. And he also can be a total hunk. Like, when he's on the ice with Aina, he's actually like, you should be proud, cause you're you, Aina. He's, like, actually kind of a romantic when he wants to be. He's just too stupid to really realize he's a romantic.
I wouldn't say he's stupid. He's just laser focused on his one ambition that he has no room to focus on anything else.
I also think something I didn't appreciate when I first watched this movie, and I got on the several times I rewatched this for this episode, is he's actually really good at being empathetic and really dramatic. Like, when he learns the truth about the Burnish, when he's confronting Ellis, and he's basically saying, you know your sister's not gonna learn with this. But I think my favorite delivery from him when he's being very sincere is when he gets broken out because Leo does his rampage. And he sees Dragon Leo, he's just like, in this most sincere, emotional tone, is that Leo? That fire, is he crying? And just the sweet sadness in his voice. It's so good. And then he proceeds to be a wonderful, badass shonen himbo boy. And he gets to be so cool, and he's great. And also, canonically, Galotimos is a bratty bottom. As I said when I was watching this with Stephanie, he literally can't get it up until Leo does the thing. Literally cannot get it up until Leo does the thing. And then he's like, yo, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Oh god, I also just love when he says, I'm the universe's #1 firefighting idiot. Like,
That was the last line of the movie, and it was great.
it's so good. Holy, like, Billy Kometz is a fantastic actor. Like, he is still a relative newcomer compared to a couple of veterans in this cast, but goddamn, this boy's going far, and he's f***ing perfect as Galotamos. Congratulations, you beautiful himbo mother. I also love when he snores when he's getting exposition to death. I thought that was fun. I just didn't know how to get this. Anyways, Billy Kometz is really good. I'm done. I'm sorry talking too long. I'm sorry.
No, that was downright inspiring. I don't think anyone here loves the movie more than you do, Andrew.
Yeah, no, Andrew loves this movie more than me, the girl who keeps buying Promare.
Okay, look. I love this movie. The LGBT community has earned the rights to this movie, especially the fact that this movie is nothing but bisexual lighting.
Yep, it's all purples and blues, boys!
Mm-hmm.
It's all...
Even the fire.
Wait, it's all bisexual? Always has been, says the gays.
Hey guys, you know, it's funny, these people go to sleep, they think everything's fine, everything's cool. Then they wake up the next day and they're on fire. G.I. Joe! I gotta keep you guys on your toes.
You came into this one with a game plan, and I'm proud of you.
I'm more proud of him.
Crispin Freeman as Craig Forsyth. I love all the bravado Crispin Freeman gives him in the first, I want to say, like, 45 minutes to an hour of the film. But what I love more, and you know it's coming from the second they introduce him, is when the mask slips. And he's revealed to actually be...
Oh yeah, because he just has this face of I fucking hate you people.
Yeah, when it's ultimately revealed and the mask slips and Gallo learns the entire truth, that bravado, that machismo is suddenly converted into this just air of malice. And it's just absolutely... It's so good. And, you know, it's Crispin Freeman. He's gonna be standing there chewing the scenery, and then he's gonna spit it back out and start chewing it up again. And I gotta say, for both Billy and Johnny Young Bosch playing against him in their particular roles, which I'll have more to talk about in just a sec, like, it's just really good. And then Johnny Young Bosch basically playing this sort of calm, nurturing figure to the Burnish. I really like it. And then, like Andrew said, the scene in the volcano where he's trying to remove the ice bullet. He's screaming and all this, and the volcano blows up and it forms his face, and just that whole scene is just... it's so good. So good. And him just flying around the city in his dragon form, burning everything up, yelling out, "Craig Forsyth!" Like, I really like Leo's Berserker mode. Like, it's good stuff. And, like, in the end of the film where he warms up to Gallo...
Technically, he warms him up.
This whole trio is just... I like it so much. But let's get to Billy. He is just the lovable doof. It's like Trigger got the textbook definition to the word himbo before the word himbo really was a thing. And they just built a character from the ground up based on that. And honestly, Noah, to understand what a himbo is, all you need to know is that they are lovable doofuses who drink respect women juice in pint glasses.
Mm-hmm. Now, at first when I heard that term, the first image that came to my mind was like the Johnny Bravo stereotype, but Johnny Bravo does not respect women, so that doesn't qualify.
No.
They're anti-Johnny.
No, I'd actually argue that he kinda does.
I mean, he's stupid enough, but I don't think his heart is in the right place.
No, a himbo is less of a Johnny Bravo and more of a Launchpad McQuack.
Oh my god.
Man, we are just shitting on childhoods tonight.
Why'd you have to hurt that hard?
Look me in the eye, Noah, and tell me that I am wrong.
I can't! That's what's wrong! Because Launchpad does respect women very much, and he is dumb as a bag of rocks. God damn it.
I'd also say Kronk from Emperor's New Groove is another himbo definition as well.
Except he's not
It's
sexualized.
11:30 at night and we're debating on Disney characters being himbos. We have officially started simping for the mouse.
God damn it.
Vinny.
Also Hercules.
Okay, we could spend the whole episode. We could spend this whole episode going through the canon. Maybe the prince from Snow White was a himbo. Maybe one of the seven dwarfs.
No, he's a
was
twink.
We could do this all night.
We could.
Listen, we
Dopey, OG himbo. There you go.
God damn it!
You fight me.
Congratulations. Walt's frozen head is spinning in its cellar.
But getting back to the subject at hand, Billy Comments just gives off the big himbo energy. He's just such a lovable doof. And like Andrew was saying, the whole scene where Deus is explaining everything about the Burnish and their origins to him, and he's just falling asleep in the middle of the explanation. Like, that is a big mood for any info dump scene in an anime.
I just love the way he's like, oh, well, what was that?
And just Gallo and Leo's interactions, and Billy and Johnny just being bros.
Yeah.
It's so good. So yeah, Noah, you might as well just go ahead now, because I'm just gonna keep getting rambling.
I'll let you gush when we get to our final thoughts.
There we go.
Again, I'm not going to disagree with your guys' assessments. Here's a problem about talking about the dub of this, and I only realized it about halfway through this podcast. This dub is really good. And there's...
Here's the problem. It's really good.
I have no flaws in
You're
this.
right. That's the problem. I love episodes where we can pick at least certain characters, and like I didn't like Andre from Prison School, or no, I loved Andre from Prison School. Like, there's no character like that in this dub. Everyone is consistently really good, sounds distinct from one another, and brings what the character needed for this dub. And that
Vinny was pretty problematic, though. Not gonna lie.
I can't believe he would say those things and eat that hot dog.
well, I mean, he is from New York, so
It's different under the sewers, you know.
that R-rated TMNT cartoon just it never saw the light of day for a reason.
I mean, you f*** April O'Neil once.
Okay, so on to the characters we're talking about. With the what was I going to talk about here? I was going to talk about with Crispin Freeman. I was just going to say that it's like with Steve Bloom. It's nice to hear him do something a little different from what I'm used to him hearing. For the first half of the movie. For the first half of the movie, he plays a very un-Crispin kind of role. This very fatherly kind of voice. Because usually Crispin plays the eye candy, the boy, the one who is really a snack for the audience. And he doesn't really get to be that until, and I wrote this down, the 46-minute mark is exactly where the switch flips for Cray, and we see his true persona really shining through. And I understood then, oh, that's why they cast Alucard. That's why they cast Sume. That's why they got Crispin Freeman. And it fits really well. It's exactly the believable kind of awful human being that this movie was going for. It wasn't just Skeletor evil, because Andrew, you mentioned Sat AM villain. It's a guy who's doing all the things that he's doing because he legitimately thinks it will save humanity. And he's not wrong exactly.
He's like a fusion between Magneto and Lex Luthor.
Okay, that's fair enough. I don't think Lex is redeemable. But Lex is smart, and so is Cray, and he's assessing the thing that will get the job done with the resources that we have available and the time we have to work with. And given the world is about to burn up from the Promare, I can understand where he's coming from, and that's what makes Crispin's performance just all that much more fun to listen to. Moving on to Johnny Young Bosch, I was honestly surprised. I thought he was going to be Gallo when I heard that he was in this movie, just based on the character design. But honestly, he plays Leo the best, and I think Johnny is the best performance in this. Billy is very good. Johnny just had a lot more material to work with, especially because, every line he speaks, it's like he's carrying the weight of the entire Burnish on his shoulders. He holds the humanity and the suffering that they're going through in every line he speaks. And that is really refreshing to listen to because, originally watching the movie at first, you're kind of pegging the Burnish for just being these troublesome individuals who don't have any reason for existing, and they're just causing mayhem.
Ooh, actually, hang on. Before you continue, I just thought of something. The difference between Leo Fotia and Cray Forsyth. Cray Forsyth is asking for a lighter burden, Leophotia is asking for broader shoulders when it comes to the burnish.
That is true. You're right. That is absolutely, that's accurate. Now, obviously, you can draw a comparison between the burnish and the LGBT community, and Leo has a really great set of lines talking about, and I did write this down, it's not about fun, the flames are part of us. We have to burn in order to live. Which is like just one rewrite away from being that one line in X-Men 2 where a mom asks one of the mutants, have you tried not being a mutant? It's like a little on the nose for LGBT community as well. So, you know, the burnish are basically something that doesn't fit in with people's normal societal expectations, but they're still human, and so they don't have to change. Why should they have to change? And that's why Johnny's performance of Leo is just really, really well done. Like, he gets the character really well. And yes, the dragon scene was beautiful. I think I even wrote down on my notes how I was just glad to watch the movie stop trying to be smart for a minute and just enjoy that volcano explosion. That was really great. And I also like, you know, as we're going to talk about animation, I don't love all the animation in this movie. I think the frenetic energy is a little hard to keep track of at some points. Like, in that final fight scene, it's kind of hard to tell what's even going on between the two mechs. But when we do see Deus Ex Machina, and we see, like, the two characters, we see Gallo and Leo combined together, and we get this glorious moment. In my head, I was just shouting, Hashini Datiga, and the, like, Kono Magana Kono Ma, Kono Mune wa Takushi Kanata Teru Kara. I have the lyrics in front of me.
I was gonna say, you sound like you have the fucking lyrics. You planned this, you
I don't have the song memorized, but you know how it goes. You know how the beat goes.
I remember, and I know it sounds very eerily similar to the beat of Gozik.
Yes, it does. So, yeah. Johnny's really good. And I'm just going to parrot what you guys both said about Billy. It's nice to hear an up-and-coming voice. Like, I know he's done other stuff before, but he was well cast for this. And watching some of the behind-the-scenes footage where he was kind of explaining how he got into the character and balancing the different personality traits, Billy did a good job, and I honestly, I liked Billy's Gallo more than I like Kyle Haybear's Kamina. I'll just put that out there.
Which can I just say, I'm glad Gallo isn't Kamina.
I'm also glad that it wasn't Kyle. That Gallo wasn't Kyle.
They're not exactly, like, they've got a lot of the same energy, but I feel like, you know, Kamina feels like he's a bit on the older and the more self-centered side, whereas Gallo is more concerned about helping others.
Gallo has survival instincts.
Yes.
Ouch. Ow.
He's also got good CPR skills.
Unlike Simone. Let's be real, we all know the person who had the real killer CPR skills was Yoko.
It's all about that chest capacity. I haven't seen the whole show yet.
Man, you really gotta watch Gurren Lagann. Okay.
I got it on my shelf, but it doesn't have the dub on it.
Wow.
It's the sub-only Bandai release.
I did not know there was a sub-only release.
That's how I got it so cheap.
Oh yeah.
It is. Here, let me grab it. It's in 3 volumes, and is it by Aniplex? No, Bandai.
No, it was a Bandai before Aniplex.
Anyway.
Well, no, Aniplex has a name on it, but that's not the point. The point is Megan, you're going to tell us about your himbo, his boyfriend, and Crispin Freeman.
Crispin Freeman. I'll start with Cray, actually, because Cray is a really fascinating character to me. I don't hate to bring up politics in this movie, because the movie does it himself and invites it to it. Like, seriously, there is something about your main villain being a member of the minority group who decides to not only lie about being one, but then takes it upon himself to personally oversee their persecution, for the express purpose of actively experimenting on them, raiding them as they hide out in camps, and then explicitly trying to use their bodies to create a better world that doesn't have them while still remaining as the only one of his kind. That's some pretty fucked up shit. I have notably called Cray Forsyth Ben Carson before.
Yep.
To which I'm not gonna explain that, but I think that Crispin plays this character well, and we could talk about how, oh my god, it's so over the top, it's so hammy, but remember that was, from that quote earlier, that was their way of trying to dumb this character down, which I don't think that Cray as a character needed to be dumbed down, especially when, they literally reused this twist in another anime, and it's not like it's a twist that hasn't been done before. where, oh no, the villain has been part of the minority the entire time. I do really enjoy Christmas Performance. I think it does have that bravado and tension in it, and I love the absolute venom that's coming out of his mouth where he talks about how Gallo has been the one thing in his life that he couldn't control. That all of this was according to Keikaku, but the only wrench in his Keikaku was just Gallo being Gallo. I will not lie that the part where he tells them to test the engine and get it ready, the Parnassus project up and ready to go, and there's that just shot of the hull where all the burnish are loaded into, and they just start spinning, and you just all start hearing them cry out at once. Like, actually gave me chills in the theater when I saw it the first time. And I think that that's the thing I like about Christmas Performance of Cray, is that there are parts of it that are legitimately chilling. Where, like, yeah, this guy is kind of this big, over-the-top villain, and he's screaming about how all this new technology is gonna be there to help the world, and then you just have Billy as Gallo with this naive hope in his voice going, if you could solve all these problems for the new world, why didn't you just try to help this one? And that is really good social commentary, in my opinion, just to have your main character who has lived this life that, in his mind, Gallo has a lot to go through, because essentially he has this entire hero worship blown up in his face. And Gallo as a character is overtly masculine while not having a lot of toxically masculine traits. Like, when he gets angry, he doesn't blow up things, he goes to cool off out on the ice. When Leo is upset, Gallo pushes him out so that he won't hurt people. When he's confronted with the idea that his own bigotry is not correct, he doesn't dig down his heels into his bigotry, and I think Billy's performance really captures that, where I think a lot of Gallo's hatred, and I don't even think he hates it, but his inherent biases are not born out of a spirit of he was raised by Cray to hate the Burnish. No, he lives in a society that believes the Burnish are bad, but he himself is naive to it, and I really like that you did bring up that whole scene where after Vulcan arrests the guy, all those people start throwing out the pizza because they think it's disgusting now. But in truth, the real disgusting people in the movie are not the guy that would making the pizza, it's the people like Vulcan and Cray who are willing to not only sacrifice the Burnish, but to them, the Burnish are no different than the people throwing away the pizza made by the Burnish. None of them are getting on that fucking boat. None of them at all. And I really do like Billy's performance in this. The only reason I was a little bit sour on it, I guess the first time I heard it, was it is very, very similar to Mitsu's performance as Josuke in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. It's a very similar tone.
Which, if you want to know my favorite Billy, that is my favorite Billy.
Yeah. Also, this Billy Comet's performance was robbed at the Crunchyroll Awards. This is the one that he should have won for last year. Fight me in the comments. Seriously, just Crunchyroll, stop trying to act like you like dubs. We know you don't. But even then, Billy isn't my favorite performance in this movie. It's actually Johnny Bosch's Leo. I absolutely adore Johnny Bosch's Leo. He is not who I thought was going to be this character, and I didn't know if it was going to work. And it isn't like softer spoken Johnny characters don't exist. Makoto from Free exists. His character in this reminds me a lot of what I really liked, because I had also recently watched it for the first time. His performance as Kiba in Wolf's Ring.
Oh, yeah.
It's a much more subtle, nuanced performance, but where Kiba has moments where he lets loose, he doesn't let loose as hard as Leo. And I absolutely fucking love Dragon Leo in more ways than one. I love demon and monster design, so shoot me. Everyone knows it. But
it's 2020. We're well into the year of the furries, the monsters, and your sexuality. That's okay.
No, but there's something about the way that Leo speaks where he doesn't speak like he's better than somebody else. He speaks like somebody who doesn't want to fight, who's tired of having to keep fighting. And there's this level of just, I guess, disappointment and anger when they're in that cave towards the beginning of the movie where they have the food and he flicks the fire on him, but Gallo kind of does that big, like, wow, I didn't even know the Burnish eat human food, and they're like, we are human still.
He kind of sounds kind of hurt, like, did you seriously not think we ate?
Like, I know Noah said that he saw the Burnish as, like, LGBT. To me, the Burnish always read as immigrants and minorities.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
The way that they explicitly framed them to me was always immigrants and minorities. How the pizza guy was working the pizza job.
And that scene in the cave, like, that was absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, where...
No one should be forced to eat microwave macaroni and cheese. Nobody.
Excuse me, I like Easy Mac.
That was not where I thought that was going. I'm impressed.
But no, just that scene where he loses the one Burnish girl who's been experimented on. But just to me, I remember the other scene in the movie that really got me is when they're out on that kind of oil rig looking thing, where it's very clearly like a Burnish, like, migratory camp, and they just start shooting it up and arresting them and piling them in, like, and they're just like, yep, we got all the fuel we need, and then Leo just loses his shit in the volcano. But, like, that to me was, like, one of the most explicit things I had seen. I was like, yeah, this is a super political movie. Like, even more so. Like, there's saying it out loud, and then there's doubling down on it with imagery, which is something that I think this movie does really well. And I think that Johnny's performance, too, really does also get a lot warmer as the movie goes on. And yes, everybody in my theater screamed like 12-year-old girls when they kissed.
Okay! Legit! Legit!
Fire kiss.
Can we talk about the fact that they actually committed to that?
Oh yeah, they didn't cheap out and, like, cut away, and everyone's like, oh, they're just giving CPR. I'm like, yeah, but it's also still dudes, and he fucking lingers, man. He fucking lingers!
That's like a 10 to 15 second shot! They know!
They held it.
It's so good!
I would like to thank Imaishi for feeding all of us in this time of trials. Speaking of feeding things, I know I was talking very seriously, so let me make this unserious by talking about... No, it's just like, what the Let me just talk about something about Gallo, which is somebody at the Trigger Anime Expo stream just asked how many In-N-Out burgers Gallo can eat in one sitting. And Wakabayashi said the patties aren't that big, so they estimated he could eat about 5 to 10 of the double burgers based off how much pizza he can eat. I am screaming.
And then somebody drew the image of him eating the double burgers.
With Leo looking at him like, are you kidding me? But no, I'm ready to move into final thoughts because holy shit, I did not expect this episode to be this long.
God bless. Alright.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's the finale episode, everybody!
So, final thoughts. Gallo Timos is a bratty bottom, and Leo Fotia is a switch.
Ooh.
Andrew, what did you think about the dub?
What I thought about the dub is that it's a really, really good, exceptional dub. I was worried that it was gonna maybe be a little too restrained to some Japanese restrictions, which, here's the thing. I think it's good to have some approval and intervention, but I think of the people who want excessive, like, Japanese intervention when it comes to English dubs, they don't actually know what they want, because when you have too much Japanese intervention, you get the new Ava dub, where it's a pretty good dub that's very much held back by a lot of strange localizations and, like, really, really specific, like, demands for line deliveries. I think it's okay to want that, but it's like, that should not be an industry norm at all. Just saying. That's my personal soapbox. What I'm going to say, this dub is really good. NYAV Post should be proud. They got a couple of veteran people in it. They've got a couple of relative newcomers. Everybody's giving 110%. The main people are giving their all and then some. It's great. This is not a perfect movie. This is a movie that I think kind of underuses half of its cast and doesn't really know what to do with them. And I think it's got a really good, interesting, relevant message that it kind of ditches for the last act of the movie to go for Rule of Cool Gynax finale, which is a fucking Rule of Cool goddamn great finale, but it's not perfect. It's not a perfect movie, but it's fun. It's wonderful. Getting to see this in theaters fucking ruled. I love Imaishi. This was a great dub. This was a great movie. I'm glad I could be a part of this, and I can't wait for my fucking collector's edition with the soundtrack to finally get here in a month.
We'll probably have it by the time this episode goes up.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, the dub here is incredibly solid, stellar performances pretty much across the board. Going off of what Andrew said about localization, I feel like it is a game of trust between the Japanese licensors and scriptwriters, directors, casting directors. Like, I understand the Japanese license holders wanting to make sure that the English dub product is consistent in quality across the board. In this case, I think it worked out really well, but Ava was also mentioned as a sort of, this is how things can start to go wrong.
Let's call it the Gynex scale.
There we go. Yeah, it's interesting, given everything. The movie itself is big, bombastic, wears its politics on its sleeve, and just about the entire rest of the denim jacket as well. Like, there are all sorts of patches all over that thing. It is just this beautiful, bombastic, kind of wish it was released in theaters a little later, so I could have actually considered it for some dubbies, but, I can say this is probably one of the better dubs I've seen all year. Mainly because, I can't nominate it for dubbies. But, yeah, it's one of the best dubs I've heard all year.
Wow. I am also a little heartbroken that I didn't get a chance to see this when it was eligible for the W Awards, because I absolutely would have nominated a couple of different performances for this, because it's just that good of a dub. There was a high expectation going in based on the pedigree of Trigger, the knowledge that it was a movie and not a TV show, so it could be shown to a bit of a wider audience. That just lent itself to a really solid dub performance, and Stephanie and Michael and crew did a really good job on this. So it's going to be boring. This is going to be a little boring to all of you listeners out there, but this is absolutely the kind of invisible dubbing that we should be striving for. And the lack of criticism on this may have made for a very monotonous episode, but hopefully all of our jokes about Pizza Rat and bottoming and everything else that we did,
simping for the mouse,
all of that hopefully made up for that, because this really is probably the best distillation of Trigger's ethos I can think of. They have a lot of tendency from their productions or the same crew when they were at Gynex of having a really strong, great idea to start with, lovely visuals to go with it, even when they're hampered by budget constraints, have issues with that, but it always seems to fall apart in the third act when they don't quite know how to stick the landing. And this movie kind of just goes back to form in that third act, and they're like, let's just have a robot fight. Let's just have two big metal machines fighting each other. And then there is a resolution that takes place in outer space. That leads to the end of the movie. So I went into this, and these guys can attest to this, as the one person in the group who feels like he's overly critical of Trigger. Because as a studio that touts itself on being a blend of Japanese and Western animation fanboys, I don't always resonate with their content. And as someone who loves Western animation, that is just something that it bugs me a lot, that I don't like their ethos as much. But this was absolutely... I'm going to say this is probably the best thing I've seen from Trigger.
Really?
I'm looking through their list of productions, and I'm just talking about stuff they've done under the name Trigger. Like, I really did like the Little Witch Academia shorts. Like, I liked that. That was a good short. I think this is more ambitious and hits a little bit stronger than that short did. The only other thing is I can just say is that it does devolve near the end to a lot of lights and colors flashing over the screen as two robots fight each other. And, I mean, that's not always my kind of thing. It's like in the third Star Wars movie where the script just said Obi-Wan and Anakin fight for 20 minutes. And it's like, okay, that's great. Can we get, like, what we had in the first movie where, like, the Battle of Fates kind of thing with the...
Gallo! I have the high ground!
I would have liked that. That would have been fun. That would have been just fine. But you know what? If you gotta throw your millions of yen at two giant robots fighting each other, and I can't tell where the hell anything's happening because the camera won't stay still, go for the visual. Just go for the spectacle. Speaking of spectacle, Megan, take us home.
Why am I the spectacle? Fine. I'm blowing this up like the 4th of July. So yeah, I was also like Noah, where I went into this movie like cautiously optimistic because the last few things from Trigger I had watched didn't do it for me. Okay, I can't say that, because I think this came out like a full year after Gridman, which is still my favorite Trigger project, because it's like the anti-Trigger show. Nobody goes to space in that. Also, please just watch Gridman. But no, coming off a year where, like, especially for Trigger, they made the worst anime ever in Darling in the Franxx. And listen, you can debate on what studio made it, but I don't care. Like, if you would have gave that to like Madhouse with that team, it still would have sucked ass. But in my opinion, this movie went from being something that, like, I was very cautiously optimistic about to being genuinely impressed, kind of a little bummed that it went full trigger, but becoming fully obsessed with the characters of this. I'm a Galileo shepper. What do you expect? Yeah, please don't kink shame me if you like Gallo Ina. I'm not gonna kink shame you.
On. I'm really sorry. I just realized something. Gallo and Leo. Is that a reference to Galileo?
Mother.
Oh my god.
The science guy.
Galileo, the science guy.
Noah, my guy, go to bed.
I just enjoy that you just described Galileo as, you know, the science guy.
Science rules.
Oh god.
You know what I'm really mad about that never got a dub, but there is an actual anime about the descendants of Galileo.
Yep.
And it has a bitchin' OP.
Oh my god.
It's like 3 girls are his direct descendants in a post-apocalyptic world, right?
And they have like a time-traveling goldfish robot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And at the end, I'm gonna spoil a sub-only show. Apparently at one point one of them goes back in time and Galileo's got the hots for his own descendants.
Well, I mean, that's anime. That doesn't surprise
I mean,
me.
that's also Futurama. Fry his own grandmother.
Okay, this is the point where we steer back around.
Hey, I mean, Fry did the nasty and the pasty.
I mean, Leo and Gallo are about to do the nasty and the robot, but, anyway, when the dub first came out, I was just kind of very, like, okay on it. I thought the mixing was good, but upon rewatching it and now knowing the twists in the movie, I think that the dub got better for me upon, like, a second or third rewatching. It is definitely a seamless dub. It is very, very good. And it does something that I think a lot of other NYAV post dubs that have come out after this haven't done that I haven't really liked. With the exception of Tokyo Godfathers. Is that after this, Weathering With You went out of its way to get big name celebrities to do the voice acting. And that's something that I really appreciate that this movie didn't do. This movie used established anime voice actors. They didn't go out of their way to go get, like, Chris Hemsworth or something to be a voice in this. And that's something that I really liked about this dub and why I like this dub a lot better than Weathering With You's. I also like this movie better than Weathering You, but that's for a Weathering With You episode that I'm hopefully never fucking on.
That's for another day.
Anyway, if you would like to watch Promare, you can pick it up from Shout Factory and GKIDS. Shout Factory is putting out a limited edition. There's also a Steelbook edition that, at the time when it was announced, it was a Best Buy exclusive, and then it became everywhere.
Because COVID meant, like, store exclusives were fucking stupid.
Thanks for the human malware, but, you can also pick it up on digital, Blu-ray, wherever digital and Blu-ray are sold. If you would like to follow us here at the Dub Talk Podcast, you can follow us at Dub Talk Podcast on Twitter, Tumblr, Twitch, Tumblr's dead. Twitter here. If you'd like to support us, as a one-time thing, we have a Ko-fi, but if you'd like to support us on the reg, we do have a Patreon with our $5 tier. B. Morris, Michelle Travis, Miracula Corazon, Nico Robin What with Yowie Hands, and our $10 tier, Anthony Simpson, Carly Lusticow, Crimson Echidna, Jacob Wilson, J2, aka Jared, Julia W, and Marissa Lenti. Gentlemen, tell me where you can be found on Twitter.
I am Classy Spartan. You can find me on Twitter at MangaMan9000, where my other podcast gig, outside of being part of the Dub Talk Podcast, you can find me as a co-host on Surreal Resolutions Podcast O&A, where we talk about anime news alongside another Dub Talk Podcast alumni, Jet. Aside from that, doing the best we can under these circumstances, and God, I miss doing these. I miss doing with you guys. You're all fucking assholes and beautiful bastards, and I love all of you.
You can put your shirt back on.
I'll wait till the credits roll.
So, I'm Roots of Justice. You can find me on the twitter.com at Roots of Justice. Mainly just retweet cute animal pics. Sometimes talk general fandom stuff. It's a good time. You should come and see me. Also, I know I've been saying this for the past, year, but I'm trying to work on reviews again. I'll figure out a show to write about at some point and put it somewhere.
Excellent. I'm gonna pester you about that. Make sure that you actually follow through on that.
Please do.
I'm just gonna go up to you. I'm gonna do the Pop Team Epic thing. I'm just gonna poke you. Be like, Are you annoyed? Are you annoyed?
Are you writing?
Yes, I'm annoyed.
All right. So, my name is Noah Clue. You can follow me on Twitter at Noah Clue. I like to talk about cartoons the whole world over, and even ones in outer space, if we ever eventually go to our plans to start making cartoons there. Of course we will, when we finally leave the planet. And I have a YouTube channel, which is Journey Traveler. It's there. Megan.
You can follow me at Twitter at Queener2. I post. And speaking of posts, hey Noah, we have one for you in the Skype thing that we need you to watch on recording.
Oh, in the Skype thing. Okay.
Noah, I need you to watch this on recording. I've been meaning to send this to you, and I haven't.
I've already seen your fan art image that you posted in your Twitter DMs.
I think I can't put that in the episode, by the way, because it's explicit as fuck, but I needed to explain to you what that...
It's explicit and probably copyright, but please watch it right now.
All right, what am I supposed to be watching?
This video...
The thing I just posted.
Okay. All right. This can't be that bad.
Oh god.
My god, come get your fucking juice. Kings of the Bars. Banging chicks in the sand. But wait.
Just keep watching.
No. Wait. Banging chicks and marry a man.
And get Manog! Mos!
Fawn has a twosome.
Cray's not
I'm
invited!
not racist. So, congrats on the sex.
Two kings walking
hand in hand, promise to cherish, love, and respect him. Smashing marry a man. Good night! That's the end of the episode!
Good night! Summer of the
Otaku
Movies.
on there,
Summer
Devil.
of the movies is over. Otaku on, my buddies. Woo!
Vicky? Vinny? Vinny? What?
Vinny!